Chapter 321. Interrogating a ball of yarn. Yunchujio was the best at giving people a sweet slap. Seeing everyone's pained expression, she said sincerely, "Everyone, do you think I'm a little greedy?" Everyone was silent. "Is there a need to ask? You're not just a little greedy. You're very greedy. Actually, I have my own difficulties. I'm not a greedy person, but I'm too weak now. I need to have some means to save my life. If I'm captured by others, you will definitely save me as a sign of respect to your teacher, right? If they come up with any excessive conditions, you will be in a dilemma. Why don't you give me something good and let me be safe? Am I right?" The grievances in everyone's hearts dissipated a little. What Yunchujio said made some sense. She was only at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm, so she was indeed too weak. Moreover, I have the heavenly thunder root spirit. It'll definitely soar to the sky in the future. I'm not someone who doesn't repay kindness. In the future I might be rich. When that time comes, you can choose any high-grade spirit tool or high-grade medicinal pill you want. If it's not good enough, I'll use lightning to help you strike whoever you dislike. Yunchujio's face was full of sincerity. The sincerity in her eyes was so touching that it almost made people cry. The remaining dissatisfaction in everyone's hearts had also dispersed. Although Yunchujio was not great, she was still pure-hearted. From the looks of it, they were a little stingy. Alas, they had lived for a few hundred years in vain. They were even worse than a 15-year-old child. How shameful. Master Xinyuan could not help but sigh. This Yunchujio's control over people's hearts was really amazing. How did a 15-year-old little girl do this? It was truly heaven-defying. Seeing that everyone was satisfied, Yunchujio smiled and said, "Little Xinyun, since there's nothing else, I'll go back first. See you again in the future. I'm still that little disciple of Spirit Radiance sect. See you later." Master Xinyuan waved his hand, indicating that she could leave. Yunchujio hopped out of the meeting hall and headed straight for the dormitory. "Master, why didn't you let them announce your identity?" the rolling pin asked in puzzlement. "A tree that stands out in the forest will be destroyed by the wind. I don't want to become a target for some people. Besides, what if they capture me and threaten Spirit Radiance sect? How great is it now that I made a huge profit and even obtained the fragment of the Great Void Mirror? Let's go back quickly and interrogate Furry." On the way back, Yunchujio made a decision. After repeatedly weighing the pros and cons, she made the decision not to reveal her identity. Yunchujio returned to her dormitory and simply tidied up. Then she shouted angrily, "Furry, get out here." Furry flew out from between Yunchujio's brows and rolled on the ground happily. "Ah, I finally get to see the outside world. This is great." Yunchujio gritted her teeth. "Furry, why did you take me out of the realm? You caused my image to be seriously damaged. Were you purposely taking revenge on me?" Furry hurriedly explained, "Master, there's nothing I can do about it. The main body of the Great Void Mirror recognizes you as its master, so it naturally can no longer exist outside of your body." Yunchujio thought for a moment and felt it made sense. It seemed like she had wronged Furry. "All right, let's turn the page. Furry, hurry up and get me some high-grade spirit herbs. I need it." Yunchujio thought to herself that she had been plucking sheep's wool in the spirit herb garden many times, and it was the perfect time to get some spirit herbs to return to Elder Chi. Fui's eyes flickered with guilt as it stammered, Master, there's something I need to tell you." Chapter 322. The outside world is so cruel. Yunchujio had an inexplicable foreboding. "Speak." "Well, dear master, there's 8 pieces of the Great Void Mirror, right? Hence there are flaws to its functionality. For the time being, and I really mean for the time being, other than me, nothing else can be taken out of it." After the ball of yarn finished speaking, it retracted its 4 limbs into the ball of yarn, feeling guilty. Yunchujio was stunned at first, and then she was instantly enraged. She thought that she had gotten a great bargain, and only after a long time did she found out that she had brought back such a useless thing. Yunchujio sneered at the ball of yarn that had shrunk into a ball. "Ball of yarn, since you have no other use, then I'll just use you to play Kuju, one." Yunchujio kicked the ball of yarn away. The ball of yarn hit the wall and bounced back. Then it was kicked away again and bounced back. Master, I'm not finished. Stop. Let me finish." The ball of yarn hugged Yunchujio's calf and begged pitifully. "Speak." "Master, as long as you get the 8 fragments back and fix the Void Mirror, you'll be rich. The Void Mirror is a divine artifact. It's much stronger than the rolling pin. The rolling pin was immediately unhappy. If you want to say something, just say it. Why hold back? I'll beat you to death, bitch. The miserable ball of yarn was instantly beaten into a blanket, tears streaming down its face. Sob sob. Baby yarn ball regrets this. The world outside is so cruel. Yun Chujio touched her chin. A divine artifact? Sounded pretty awesome. However, not to mention the other 4 fragments, just the fragments in the hands of the other 3 great sects were already very difficult to get, right? Yun Chujio held the Spirit Radiance Sect's fragment in her hand and asked Ball of Yarn, I have one in my hand now. If I fix it, will it have any use? Furry got up from the ground and said fawningly, Master, if I fix this piece, I can get the yellow category low-grade spirit herbs and first-grade demon beasts out of the mystic realm for you. And how do I operate it? Yun Chujio curled her lips. They were all worthless goods, but it was better than nothing. At least in the future she did not have to go to the mountains to get roasted meat anymore. The Ball of Yarn taught Yun Chujio an obscure and difficult chant. After Yun Chujio recited it, the fragment of the void mirror in her hand floated up and hid between Yun Chujio's eyebrows. Yun Chujio looked inside and sure enough, one of the holes in the great void mirror had been repaired. Yun Chujio secretly stared at the 2 things in her dantian. These 2 things were not good Adian. She did not know whether it was a blessing or a curse. It was already lunchtime. The 3 foodies naturally had a big meal. Especially Furry, who had never eaten these delicacies before. It ate with all its might. After it finished eating, its entire body swelled up. Furry immediately forgot about the abuse she had suffered previously. Baby Yarn does not regret this. The outside world is really too fucking awesome. Little Sister Gio. Little Sister Gio. Big brother is here to see you. Yun Chujio frowned. Why was the red-clothed pervert there? This black-headed chicken must have sent someone to monitor her. Otherwise, why would he come when she had just returned? Yun Chujio rolled her eyes. Since you took the initiative to come to my door, don't blame me for being ruthless. If I don't kill you, I would be wronging the 99,000 spirit stones that the gigolo had swindled you of. Yun Chujio giggled as she walked out of the room. Brother Wuji, I'm so happy to see you. I was wondering why the sky is blue, the grass is green, and the flowers are blooming today. Turns out I have a distinguished guest. Chapter 323. Young Master, please wake up little Sister Gio, you really know how to talk. I haven't seen you in a while. Did you miss your big brother? Here, take these flowers. Shue Wuji took out a bunch of colorful wild flowers from his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio casually took it and said, Big brother Wuji, this good-looking but useless thing is not as practical as 2 meat buns. Next time, don't do such a stupid thing. Shue Wuji was speechless. Secret Agent Hua Hua remembered that his young master had confidently said that Yun Chujio would be overjoyed when she saw the flowers. She would definitely be moved to tears. Young master, does your pride hurt? Shue Wuji looked at Yun Chujio casually throwing the bouquet of wild flowers that he had carefully arranged on the stone table. He was so angry that his heart was twitching. This stupid girl had no aesthetic sense at all. She actually abused his hard work. Brother Wuji, why do you look so pale? Are you hungry? Yun Chujio asked with a smile. I was in a hurry to see you. I haven't had lunch yet. Shue Wuji loosened his fists in his sleeve. This darn girl still cares about me. Yun Chujio's eyes lit up. Brother Wuji, what do you want to eat? I have everything here. Anything. Anything is fine. Shue Wuji felt even more touched. This stupid girl is so considerate toward me. Yun Chujio quickly took out a table of food from her storage ring. Seeing that the bouquet of wild flowers was in the way, she pushed it to the ground. The corner of Shue Wuji's eyes twitched violently. This little girl is really not romantic. However, at least she still has some feelings for me. Otherwise, she wouldn't have taken the initiative to prepare food for me. Shue Wuji was really a little hungry. He picked up his chopsticks and started eating. Little Sister Gio, your food is not bad. I'm about to fall in love with you. After Shue Wuji had eaten his fill, he leaned back slightly on the recliner. His long and narrow phoenix eyes were filled with charm as he looked at Yun Chujio with deep affection. When Yun Chujio heard Shue Wuji's words, she was stunned. Shue Wuji was pleased with himself. A little girl who had never seen the world was a piece of cake for this young master. As long as he used some tricks, she would be completely loyal to him. Biming, just you wait to be cuckolded. Brother Wuji, what did you say just now? I was just calculating the bill and didn't hear clearly. We're old acquaintances. How about this? I will give you a discount for this table of dishes. You only need to pay me 100,000 spirit stones. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Shua Wuji almost fell off his chair. What? Was she not mesmerized by him? Was she counting money? Secret Agent Hua Hua quietly stepped back. Young master, you better be careful. Why don't you learn your lesson? The little girl doesn't even like you. Wake up. Shua Wuji gritted his teeth. Little sister Jiao, I remember you said last time that you wouldn't charge me for my meals in the future. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. I didn't charge you for your food. I charged you for the vegetables. I didn't include the rice. Shua Wuji was speechless. Brother Wuji, are you trying to go back on your word? No wonder Prince Charming said that you're a cheapskate. Prince Charming is always very generous. Yun Chujio curled her lips with a look of disdain. Shua Wuji was like a cat whose tail had been stepped on. He immediately became anxious. He's the cheapskate. Little sister Jiao, I was joking with you just now. It's just 100,000 spirit stone, isn't it? Take it. Chapter 324. I'll take it. Yun Chujio accepted the spirit stones and her smile immediately brightened. Brother Wuji, you're really a generous tycoon. Are you thirsty? Let me make you a pot of tea, okay? Little sister Jiao, I'm not thirsty. Let's chat. Shua Wuji shook his head like a rattle drum. What a joke. This little girl was so ruthless. A pot of tea would probably cost him 10,000 spirit stones. Brother Wuji, I originally wanted to give you a pot of tea. Since that's the case, I'll drink it myself. Yun Chujio poured a cup of tea and sipped it. The dishes Shua Wuji ate were a little salty. Initially he did not think much of it. Now that he heard the sound of Yun Chujio drinking water, he immediately felt thirsty. Little sister Jiao, I'm also a little thirsty. Yun Chujio smiled and poured a cup for Shua Wuji. Big brother Wuji, please have some tea. Shua Wuji's depression dissipated a little and he drank the tea in one gulp. Yun Chujio helped fill another cup and Shua Wuji drank it all. After drinking 3 cups in a row, Shua Wuji put down the teacup. Little sister Jiao, there's no need to pour. I don't want to drink anymore. Brother Wuji, 1 cup costs 10,000 spirit stones, and 3 cups costs 30,000 spirit stones. Pay up. What? Didn't you say you would give it to me as a gift? Yeah, didn't you want the pot of tea that I gave you as a gift? These 3 cups are for a fee. Brother Wuji, are you trying to renege on your promise? If you don't want to give it to me, then so be it. I can't beat you anyway. Sigh, Prince Charming never reneges on his promise. He always pays up without hesitation. Shua Wuji felt like his head was about to burst. This wretched girl was really crafty. He was so angry. Shua Wuji endured but did not make a move. He squeezed out a smile and said, Little sister Jiao, you're really lively. Isn't it just 30,000 spirit stones? Take it. Brother Wuji is really a good person who keeps his word. Brother Wuji, do you want to have some spirit fruits? Are you going to charge me? Shua Wuji gritted his teeth and asked. Of course I do. Brother Wuji, it can't be that you can't afford it, right? Since you can't afford it, then forget it. I'll sell it to my Prince Charming. I can't afford it? Bring me as many as you have. Shua Wuji straightened his back. This young master is much richer than that expressionless man. Secret Agent Hua Hua rubbed his forehead. Young master, where is your usual shrewdness? Why do you always look like a fool when you're with this little girl? She's obviously trying to trick you. Sure enough, Yun Chujio smiled and produced a basket of red fruits, each of which was only the size of a thumb. Brother Wuji, there are a total of 580 coral fruits costing 100 spirit stones each, which comes to a total of 58,000 spirit stones. Pay up. Shua Wuji jumped up immediately. 1 spirit stone can buy a whole cart of these lousy coral fruits on the streets. You're selling them to me for 58,000? Are you trying to rob me? Yun Chujio pouted her mouth aggrievedly. Brother Wuji, the coral fruits you mentioned are from the demonic beast forest. I picked these from the ancient mystic dimension. The ancient mystic dimension has disappeared, so these coral fruits are precious. If it weren't for our good relationship, I wouldn't have sold them to you. It's fine if you don't buy them, but when the Prince Charming comes, I'll sell them to him. Maybe he'll give me 100,000 spirit stones for them. Shua Wuji snorted coldly. No matter where you pick them, they're just coral fruits without any spiritual essence. I don't believe that Di Biming would pay 100,000 spirit stones for this damn thing. As soon as Shui Wuji finished his words, a cold voice was heard. Black thing, I'll pay 200,000 spirit stones for these fruits. Chapter 325. It's for your young master's consumption anyway. Along with his voice, Di Biming, who had an austere aura, appeared. He glanced at the bouquet of wild flowers on the ground, then glanced at the food and spiritual fruits on the stone table, and glared fiercely at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio inexplicably felt a little guilty, and then she straightened her small waist. Ichig, what was she guilty about? She did not do anything bad. Besides, why did the gigolo look like he caught her in bed? Who was he to do that? Shui Wuji was shocked. He did not notice Di Biming at all when he was nearby. This meant that Di Biming's emotionless skills had increased again. Black thing, I want these coral fruit. I'll transfer 200 spirit stones to you later. Go and wash a plateful for me. I'll invite young Master Shui to taste it. After all, a frugal person like young Master Shui wouldn't be willing to buy such expensive fruits. Di Biming sat on the stone bench and said indifferently. Yun Chujio smiled brightly and replied in a crisp voice, all right. Prince Charming, you're the real nouveau riche. I'll go and wash the fruits now. Shui Wuji felt that the word real was very harsh on his ears, and he sneered. Wait. There must be a first-come first-serve way to buy things, right? Little sister Jio, this young master will also pay 200 spirit stones for the fruit. Secret Agent Hua Hua was about to cry. Young master, the two of them are trying to trick you. Are you stupid? You're usually cunning. But why do you look like an idiot when you meet Di Biming and Yun Chujio? Yun Chujio seemed to be in a difficult position when she heard Shui Wuji's words. She said timidly, this. Prince Charming, it was indeed Brother Wuji who came first. I'm sorry, I can only sell the fruit to Brother Wuji. Di Biming raised his eyebrows. He came first, but it only counts when you pay for the business. Come here. I'll transfer the spirit stones to you now. Shui Wuji immediately became anxious. Little sister Jio, I'll transfer it to you now. Yun Chujio seemed to be in a difficult position. She stomped her feet and said, My Prince Charming, I'm sorry. I should sell it to Brother Wuji. He came first. Shui Wuji was very proud. He could not wait to transfer the 200,000 spirit stones to Yun Chujio. Then he said, Di Biming, this fruit is mine. It's my treat. Little sister Jio, go and wash the fruits for me. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. Brother Wuji, I just remembered that this fruit is pure and uncontaminated. Doesn't need to be washed. If we wash it with water, it might lose its flavor. We can just eat it like this. Shui Wuji smacked his lips. Why did he feel like he had been tricked? Shui Wuji calmed down and gritted his teeth in anger. These two made a trap for him to fall into? He had actually fallen for the trap on a whim. Shui Wuji was both angry and annoyed. He had always been the one who cheated others. Why was he repeatedly deceived by this smelly little girl Yun Chujio? It must be that he was too careless. Yes, it must be so. Brother Wuji, you said that you're treating us to the fruits? Are you still doing that? Can we start eating? Yun Chujio answered with a smile. Shui Wuji gritted his teeth and said, Yes. Of course it counts. Let's eat. Yun Chujio cheered and grabbed a bunch of coral fruits for An Feng and An Yin, who appeared one after another. Then she grabbed another bunch for Secret Agent Hua Hua and said, Little Hua Hua, try this. It's sweet then sour then sweet then sour. It's your young master's treat anyway, so don't be shy. Secret Agent Hua Hua felt that his young master's head was already faintly emitting smoke. This Yun Chujio was really too infuriating. Chapter 326. Women are afraid of marrying the wrong man. Shui Wuji's heart was bleeding as he watched the crowd eat the fruits. A small fruit costs more than 300 spirit stones. You're not eating fruit, you're eating my spirit stones. Shui Wuji saw that the fruit was rapidly decreasing, so he quickly grabbed a handful and ate it. Eating one was equivalent to earning 300 spirit stones. We'll eat them. Perhaps it was because he had spent spirit stones, but Shui Wuji felt that the fruit was indeed much sweeter than a large cart of coral fruits. The basket of coral fruits was quickly eaten up by everyone. Shui Wuji was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. I feel uncomfortable. I just don't have to think about it. Therefore he looked at Di Biming with a meaningful look. Then he smiled and said, Di Biming, I haven't congratulated you yet. I heard that the old madam of your palace has recently invited many young ladies to your palace as guests for you to choose your concubines. Those young ladies are all socialites from the Tianyuan continent. You have so much variety of concubines to choose from. You're really lucky in love. Di Biming said expressionlessly, our palace is relatively quiet and not as lively as your sect. That's why my mother would occasionally hold some banquets. The matter of choosing concubines is completely non-existent. If I were like you, I believe my mother would not be so free. Xue Wuji originally wanted to sow discord between Di Biming and Yun Chujio, but he did not expect Di Biming to turn it on him. He quickly explained to Yun Chujio, little sister Jio, I don't have any harem. Those girls are all willing to be guests in our sect. There's nothing between them and me. At most, I'll ask them to dance and sing for me. When I marry you in the future, I'll definitely chase them away. Yun Chujio giggled, what's the point of chasing them away? I'll be more lively with more people. I'll be great if we can form 2 Kuju teams. Little sister Jio, do you mean that you'll agree to be with me? Xue Wuji asked excitedly. He thought to himself, what's the big deal about giving a few spirit stones? As long as I get Yun Chujio, this wretched girl, it would be the biggest insult to Di Biming. Yun Chujio tried her best to ignore Di Biming's cold gaze and said with a smile, Brother Wuji, you've misunderstood. I'm giving you a suggestion. In the future, if you have a girl that you like, you can do this. Little sister Jio, I'll only take 1 scoop out of the 3,000. 1. Other than you, I won't marry anyone else. Xue Wuji said with deep affection, his eyes full of friendship. Brother Wuji, I appreciate your kindness, but I only treat you as my elder brother. Yun Chujio cursed in her heart. This flirt must seduce many girls. Otherwise, how can he be so smooth with his words? Xue Wuji looked heartbroken and then smiled bitterly. Little sister Jio, your words really hurt my heart. But it doesn't matter. Brotherly love is still love. One day you'll find that I'm the most suitable man for you. You'll find out the true face of a hypocrite sooner or later. On one hand, someone is choosing concubines in his own palace, and on the other hand, he's pretending to like you in front of you. Such a scumbag is not worthy of you, little sister Jio. Di Biming could not stand it anymore and said coldly, Xue Wuji, if you don't want to die, then get lost. When Xue Wuji saw that Di Biming finally lost his composure, he became even more spirited. Little sister Jio, I exposed someone's true colors and he became angry out of embarrassment. Little sister Jio, you're still young and have never seen the evil of the world. Men are afraid of entering the wrong line of work and women are afraid of marrying the wrong man. You must keep your eyes open. Chapter 327. I'll give you a poem. Di Biming's aura suddenly changed. He stood up and took a few steps forward. Xue Wuji, isn't the lesson I taught you a few days ago enough? Do you want your demon blood sex territory to shrink by another 10%? Xue Wuji sneered. Di Biming, are you angry because you're humiliated? Little sister Jio, look. He's guilty. You must keep your eyes open. Yun Chujio acted as if she did not see the tense atmosphere between the two of them. She smiled and said, yes, Brother Wuji, I know. A good person like you will be rewarded. As a token of my gratitude, I'll give Brother Wuji a poem. Xue Wuji was very proud. Little sister Jio, you are really talented. You even know how to write poems. Recite it. Di Biming was instantly enraged when he heard that Yun Chujio was actually going to give Xue Wuji a poem. The first thing that came to his mind was the love poem that Yun Chujio had given him back then. Could it be that the black thing was also going to give Xue Wuji a poem? This was really outrageous. Yun Chujio ignored Di Biming's dead fish eyes. 1. With her hands behind her back, she straightened her back and said loudly, Brother Wuji, listen well. Good will be rewarded for good and evil will be rewarded for evil. Good and evil will be rewarded in the end. If you don't believe it, look up and see who will be spared by the heavens. Xue Wuji was speechless. Darn girl, are you praising me or scolding me? Why doesn't it seem like a good thing? Brother Wuji, how's my poem? It's simple, easy to understand and full of philosophical meaning. It's too suitable for you. Yun Chujio said with a smile. The corner of Xue Wuji's eyes twitched. Little sister Jio, why do I feel that your poem doesn't seem to be praising me, but rather cursing me? Yun Chujio's small face immediately sank. Brother Wuji, how can you say that? This poem of mine praises good people and curses evil people. Not only did you give me spirit stones, but you also reminded me not to fall for the scumbag man's trap. How can you be an evil person? You're obviously a good person with a good heart. Xue Wuji was rendered speechless. He could not possibly expose himself as someone with a bad heart, right? Xue Wuji felt that if he continued to stay here he would definitely be angered to the point that he would vomit blood. However, he could not leave letting the two of them feel great either. I've eaten and drank here, so I'll take my leave then. Little sister Jiu, you must keep your eyes open. You mustn't accept a scumbag who has multiple faces. He'll come and visit you often. Yun Chujiu waved her claws. Goodbye, Brother Wuji. Remember to bring more spirit stones next time. I still have some good things to sell you. Xue Wuji originally wanted to leave Yun Chujiu a cool back view, but when he heard this he staggered and quickly left with secret agent Hua Hua. He looked like he was running away. Yun Chujiu turned around as if she did not see Di Baiming and hopped into the house. Di Baiming was originally sitting on the stone bench and purposely put on a face that made people stay away from him. He was waiting for Yun Chujiu to explain herself. Black thing, I definitely won't forgive you easily this time. The miserable overlord did not expect Yun Chujiu to ignore him. She hopped straight into the house. Di Baiming initially thought that Yun Chujiu had entered the house to retrieve something. Perhaps it was a love letter or something like that. However, after waiting and waiting, Yun Chujiu still did not come out. Di Baiming was so angry that his face turned green. Alright, after not seeing her for a few days, Black Thing's courage is getting bigger and bigger. Not only is she chatting and laughing with that idiot Xue Wuji, she actually dares to ignore me. I won't let her off. Di Baiming kicked the door to pieces with a loud bang and then stormed into the house angrily. Chapter 328. Male God, sing me a lullaby. And Feng heard the sound of Di Baiming kicking the door, and he could not help but shrink his neck. Your Majesty, in terms of chasing girls, you're really inferior to Xue Wuji. With your pursuit, you're destined to die alone. Di Baiming entered the room and saw Yun Chujiu lying on the bed, twitching as if she was crying. Di Baiming suppressed his anger and asked awkwardly, Black Thing, what are you doing? Yun Chujiu raised her head. Her eyes were red and tears were streaming down her face. She grabbed the pillow in her hand and threw it at Di Baiming. Sob sob, you're such a pervert. Leave. I don't want to see you again. Under normal circumstances, Di Baiming would definitely tear the pillow that was thrown at him into pieces. However, he was a little numb then. Black Thing was crying so sadly. What should I do? She must have heard Xue Wuji's stupid words and misunderstood me. Black Thing, Xue Wuji's stupid words aren't true. Women are the most troublesome. Why would I choose a concubine so early? Yun Chujiu sneered in her heart. If you don't choose a concubine now, meaning you'll choose one sooner or later. Damn it. If I don't torture you, you won't learn your lesson. Yun Chujiu allowed her tears to fall one drop at a time as she said bitterly, Prince Charming, you should go. Brother Wuji's words make sense. You're indeed not my lover. You'll meet the woman you like when you're choosing your concubine. You should go. Just let me die of sadness alone. Sob sob. Di Baiming felt his heart clench and he explained helplessly, Black Thing, I didn't mean that. I will not choose a concubine in the future. Sob sob. You're lying. You even said that you would treat me well. But not only did you glare at me, you even broke my door. How is that treating me well? Sob sob, living is so tiring. I might as well die. Sob sob, don't stop me. I'm going to hit the wall and commit suicide. Yun Chujiu said as she climbed up from the bed and crashed into a wall. Di Baiming was so scared that he almost jumped out. He quickly hugged Yun Chujiu. Black Thing. I was wrong. I won't kick the door anymore. It'll definitely treat you well in the future. Yun Chujiu felt that the fire was almost ready. Little fellow, I'll simmer it slowly. Sooner or later I'll make you a wife's slave. Then she rolled her eyes and pretended to faint. Di Baiming was so anxious that he stuffed the pills and lost his spiritual power. Only then did Yun Chujiu pretend to be weak and said, My idol, I'm fine. I'm just a little too sad. Carry me to the bed for me to rest. Di Baiming quickly put Yun Chujiu gently on the bed and asked nervously, Are you feeling better now? Yun Chujiu said weakly, I'm alright, but I'm feeling a little stuffy. Thin blue shiitake mushroom. 1. Thin blue shiitake mushroom. Di Baiming was confused and quickly said, Black Thing, then you should get some rest. We'll get Feng and the others to replace the door for you. Prince Charming, I'm feeling very anxious. Sing me a lullaby. Yun Chujiu said weakly. Di Baiming's face turned red. Black thing, I don't know how to sing a lullaby. Ah, my heart hurts. I can't breathe. Yun Chujio clutched her chest and cried out pitifully. Di Baiming gritted his teeth and recalled the lullaby his mother sang when he was young. He sang in a low voice, "The moon is bright, the wind is still, the leaves cover the windows. The crickets are calling just like the sound of the zither strings. The sound of the zither is light and melodious, and the cradle is swaying gently. Ah, my baby, close your eyes and sleep, sleep in your dreams." Yun Chuju almost burst out laughing. She tried hard to hold back her laughter and lay on the pillow, but she actually fell asleep slowly. Chapter 329. I must hit my head against the wall today. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujia's face was still dripping with tears, so he bent down and gently kissed her. Then he was stunned. Tears are salty. Why were Black Thing's tears so spicy? Di Baiming suspiciously picked up Yun Chujia's hand and looked at it. Indeed, there was a tiny bit of red chili left under her fingernails. Di Baiming was so angry that he almost fainted. Good. Very good. Black Thing, you actually used chili to trick me. Di Baiming immediately wanted to scold Yun Chujio awake. He endured it, gritted his teeth and left. Yun Chujio did not know that the truth had been exposed. After a beautiful sleep, she covered her little head in the quilt and laughed secretly. Haha, the gigolo actually sang a lullaby for me. This idiot didn't even know how to change the lyrics. What a fucking baby. Can't he change it to my little Gio? He's so stupid. However, the gigolo's singing was pretty good. In the future she would make him sing a lullaby while she slept. If he did not sing, she would pretend to be sick. Anyway, no one would be able to tell what was going on because of the pain in her heart. Yes, let's do it. She fantasized about a beautiful future on the bed. Then her stomach began to growl. Hence she lied on the bed and pretended to be weak. Prince Charming, come in quickly. I'm so uncomfortable. Di Baiming walked in with an expressionless face. He barely held back the thought of strangling Yun Chujio. He gritted his teeth and asked, "Uncomfortable again? How can we fix that?" Yun Chujio said pitifully, "Maybe I'm hungry? I won't feel uncomfortable if I eat something delicious. Prince Charming, did you bring me something delicious? Give me a few pieces of golden cake first. It'll be down." Di Baiming sneered, "Black Thing, I think it'll be better if you eat some chili noodles." Yun Chujio was instantly dumbfounded. It's over. She was exposed. How did the gigolo find out that she used chili to wipe her eyes? It was over. She had tortured the gigolo badly and even made him sing a lullaby for her. He would not let her off so easily. What should she do? This fellow's skin was unusually thick and she said nonchalantly, "Prince Charming, how did you know that I put chili on my face? You really have a divine plan." It was like this. At that time I felt extremely uncomfortable, but I wanted to cry, but there were no tears. I was afraid that I would be sullen, so I could only use chili to urge my tears. To release my sad emotions. Di Baiming was furious. "Black Thing, you really know how to spout nonsense. You even lied to me and said that you were heartbroken? You even said that you don't want to live anymore. Didn't you want to hit the wall? Go ahead and hit it." Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and pouted, "Prince Charming. You really disappointed me. I didn't expect you to be such a heartless Prince Charming. Fine. We'll hit the wall now. If you have the ability, then don't stop me." Di Baiming snorted. "Don't worry. I won't stop you." Yun Chujio jumped down from the bed and hugged Di Baiming's arm. She shouted shamelessly, "My Prince Charming, didn't you say you won't stop me? Then why are you pulling my arm? Let go of me, I must do this today." Di Baiming was speechless. Yun Chujio was flexible. She said obsequiously, "Prince Charming, it's wrong for me to use chili to tear up, but there's something wrong with you too. Let's call it even. Humans aren't saints, how can there not be mistakes? I promise I won't do it again. Please forgive me and let this slide." Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujio's shameless look and could not bring himself to teach her a lesson. He could only snort coldly, "It won't happen again." Yun Chujio made a victory sign in her heart. To deal with this kind of arrogance she had to be a little more thick-skinned. After all, honor was not worth anything. If she lost it, so be it. Chapter 330. You won't die with me around. Yun Chujio held Di Baiming's arm and hopped out of the house. And Feng could not help but give Yun Chujio a thumbs up in his heart. Miss Jio is really something. When we went in, he wanted to eat people. Now the clouds have turned sunny. And Feng, please help me install the door. Otherwise my Prince Charming will catch a cold at night. I'll feel sorry for him. Yun Chujio said with a smile. And Feng was faced with a slew of public affection. He started to install the door sadly. As for where the door came from, well, he took it from the other yard. Idol, are you tired? Let me massage your shoulders. Idol, are you thirsty? Let me make you a pot of tea. Idol, are you bored? Let me tell you a joke. Yun Chujio followed the principle of giving a sweet date with a slap, and tried her best to please Di Biming. The resentment in Di Biming's heart was instantly replaced by a pink, happy bubble. He felt that it would be great if Black Thing was by his side every day from then on. Only such days would be lively and more enjoyable. Yun Chujio saw that it was almost time, so she said pitifully, Idol, are you hungry? Let's have dinner. Di Biming was in a good mood, so he did not make things difficult for her. He immediately took out the prepared food and the two of them began to eat dinner. After dinner, Yun Chujio said smugly, My idol, I got a little thing from the Secret Realm trial a few days ago. It's really fun. And Feng had reported to Di Biming about Yun Chujio's participation in the trial, but Feng did not know about Furry, so Di Biming raised his eyebrows. What little thing is fun? Furry, come out. Meet my idol. The ball of yarn had long been shameless for food. When it heard Yun Chujio's call, it immediately flew out from between Yun Chujio's eyebrows. Dear master. I'm coming. Di Biming looked at ball of yarn on the ground. What was this thing? A ball of yarn had turned into a spirit? Prince Charming, this ball of yarn is Furry. Isn't it fun? Furry, roll a few times to make Prince Charming happy. If you perform well, it'll reward you with some delicious food. Furry had long forgotten about its integrity as a spirit and immediately rolled on the ground. This is a spirit? Di Biming's eyes twitched. Why did this spirit look so unreliable? Other than acting cute, there was probably nothing else it could do. Yun Chujio nodded. My Prince Charming, don't think that Furry is a weakling. Once I find the other 7 fragments of the Void Mirror, I'll be rich. Di Biming was confused and asked, Void Mirror? Fragments? What do you mean? Yun Chujio told him about the Void Mirror and Di Biming and the other two were surprised. Was that not too heaven-defying? She only participated in the trial to pick some spiritual herbs, so it was fine if she got some demonic cores. This guy was great. It just gave her a whole nest of them. If the 4 great sects knew that the trial place was monopolized by someone, they would have to find Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio suddenly sighed. Pursing her lips, she said, Prince Charming, although it's a good thing to have an artifact, but that damn mirror and that strange grass aren't under my control. This ball of wool is said to be a spirit and has the ability to control space, but it can't even control the mystic realm. Di Biming frowned. He had browsed through a lot of information and asked some mighty figures. However, he had never heard of a situation like hers. Originally, that grass was already difficult to deal with. Now a great void mirror was living in her. It was really a case of one wave rising before the other. Yun Chujio was rather open-minded. She giggled and said, Prince Charming, you don't have to worry. At worst it's just death. I'll earn a day every day I live. What's the point of thinking so much? Di Biming's expression changed and he shouted angrily, What nonsense are you spouting? With this me here you won't die. If a demon wants to kill you I will eliminate it. If a god wants to kill you I will destroy it. Even if the heavens wants to destroy you, even if I have to defy the heavens, I won't allow it to touch you in the slightest. Chapter 331. Blockhead Yun Chujio was stunned. Although when the lightning struck her last time, Di Biming had risked his life to save her, and she had already confirmed Di Biming's feelings toward her. When Di Biming said those words, Yun Chujio still felt that a corner of her frozen heart had collapsed. Although the gigolo is Tsundra and he might not understand what love is, but he's sincere toward me. Although he's a little arrogant, he could still slowly get rid of that habit. Yun Chujio's eyes were sparkling as she looked at Di Biming. Prince Charming, I was just joking. I Yun Chujio am very tough. If anyone dares to kill me, I'll use lightning to kill him. If the 2 unlucky things in my dantian wants to harm me, I'll give up my dantian and get them out of my body. Di Biming's expression softened. Don't worry, Black Thing. I'll definitely find a way for you. Yes, my Prince Charming. I believe in you. Yun Chujio blinked her starry eyes and looked at Di Baiming trustfully. And Feng and An had to face the public display of affection. The two of them looked at each other and ran to a corner to pass time. The sky gradually darkened. Yun Chujio took a nap in the afternoon and was not sleepy at all. She shamelessly got Di Baiming to sit on the roof and look at the stars with her. The corners of An Feng and An's eyes twitched. Only Miss Jiu would dare to make our lord do such a stupid thing. Yun Chujio put her arm behind her head and lay on the roof. She said with a smile, "Prince Charming, look at the starry sky and the crescent moon. How beautiful they are." Di Baiming hummed lightly. In his opinion, he did not see what was so beautiful about some stars and the moon. He might as well go into the house and cultivate. "Prince Charming, I hope that we'll be together for a long time. We're under the same starry sky. When I'm not by your side, you can look at the moon and the stars. Maybe I'm also looking at the stars." Yun Chujio decided to cultivate the romantic cells in the gigolo. "Then why bother? Don't you know that I have a voice transmission talisman?" Di Baiming said with slight disdain. Yun Chujio did not have any words. Damn it, this blockhead doesn't know what romance is. Yun Chujio tilted her head and glared at Di Baiming. Then her heart started to stir. Under the starlight, Di Baiming was less tough and more gentle. His entire person was like a statue with a glowing body. It tickled the little pervert Yun Chujio's heart. This pervert was extremely lecherous. She pounced on Di Baiming and said, "Gorgeous man, how can you let down such a beautiful scene? Come, let's relish this moment." Di Baiming was stunned at first, then he waved his sleeve. And Feng and An, who were watching the show, were immediately cut off from their six senses. Di Baiming turned over and pressed Yun Chujio under his body. The hot kiss fell like a storm. After a long while, Di Baiming stopped his dizzying touches and said in a hoarse voice, "Black thing, you seduced me." "Humph. I'm sleepy. I'm going back to the house to sleep." Yun Chujio pouted her slightly red and swollen lips and jumped off the roof. She ran into the house as if she was running away. She was being teased instead of being the teaser. It was so embarrassing. Di Baiming looked at Yun Chujio's panicked back and could not help but laugh at the sky. Turns out that black thing was also shy. Really cute. Di Baiming jumped down from the roof and followed her into the house. And Feng and An finally returned to normal. And Feng whispered, "Our honorable sir must have been molested by Miss Jiu again. I didn't expect our honorable sir to be so good at this." Before An could say anything, Di Baiming said coldly, "And Feng, it seems that you have been too free recently. I heard that there is a polar region to the north of the Qingxian continent. The polar ice fish there are delicious. Go and hunt 100 of them." Chapter 332. A lullaby from the Prince Charming. When Yun Chujio heard about the food, she immediately added, "How can 100 of them be enough? And Feng, get more. It's best if you can get some prawns or crabs. If there are any snow lotuses or snow ginseng, get me a few hundred of them too." And Feng was about to cry. "Who told you to be mean? Who told you to be talkative?" The northern polar region was extremely cold. If he went there, he would definitely be frozen into an ice sculpture. Moreover, there were many demonic beasts in the region and they were very ferocious. If he were to go there, he would definitely be skinned alive. "Your Excellency, Miss Jiu, I was wrong. I will not spout nonsense next time. Please spare me this time." And Feng immediately began to beg for mercy. Di Baiming snorted coldly and did not speak. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and sighed, "And Feng, actually, I also sympathize with you. But about that, you have to show some respect, don't you?" And Feng immediately understood and said painfully, "Miss Jiu, my storage ring is too small. I really can't fit 10,000 low-grade spirit stones in it. Why don't you keep it for me first?" 10,000? You can keep it yourself. You better go fishing." Yun Chujio said with slight disdain. And Feng gritted his teeth. "Miss Jiu, I remembered wrongly. It's 100,000. Yun Chujio giggled. "Prince Charming, I think In Feng must been talking nonsense just now. Please don't argue with him. I'll help you massage your shoulders. Let's not lower ourselves to his level." Di Baiming saw Yun Chujio winking at him with all her might, and the corners of his mouth curled up. "It won't happen again." And Feng wiped the cold sweat off his forehead, and in his heart he raised Yun Chujio's status by another level. The decision made by their esteemed lord was something that even the hall master and the hall master's wife could not change. He did not expect that the she would be able to change his mind so easily. In the future, the she might not only be a concubine, but might even become their esteemed empress. Inside the house, Yun Chujio was massaging Di Baiming's shoulders with all her might. As she massaged his shoulders, she mumbled, "Prince Charming, why are your shoulders so hard? Let me see. Are they all muscles?" This little pervert did not know how to take a beating. She had long forgotten about the embarrassing incident just now. As she spoke, she wanted to strip Di Baiming of his clothes. Di Baiming's expression was unnaturally angry as he scolded, "How dare you touch me? There's no need to massage anymore. Turn off the lights and go to sleep." Yun Chujio pouted, "If you don't want a massage, then so be it. It just so happens that my hands are sore from massaging it anyway." Humph. After the two of them washed up, Yun Chujio climbed into the bed and laid down obediently. Then she said with starry eyes, "Prince Charming, sing me a lullaby. Just sing the one you sang during the day. Just change mother's baby to my little Gio." Di Baiming snorted coldly, "I haven't settled scores with you yet. How dare you bring this up?" Yun Chujio buried her head in Di Baiming's arms. "Prince Charming, it's my fault for lying to you. But your singing is so good. I've never heard such a good lullaby before. Can you sing it for me again?" When Yun Chujio acted coquettishly, Di Baiming felt his whole body go numb. Even if he were to die then and there, he would probably be happy. He coughed awkwardly. "Lie down. I will reluctantly sing once for you. But after this time it will not happen again." Yun Chujio acknowledged, but what she thought in her heart, if I can make you sing once or twice, then I can make you sing for me every day. This is just the beginning. We'll see. Di Baiming's face flushed red as he began to sing. "Yun Chujio, this fellow took an inch and then a mile." She said, "Prince Charming, I still can't fall asleep. Pat me gently while you sing." Chapter 333. Successor disciple. Di Baiming glared at her, but his hands were slowly and rhythmically patting Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio yawned and quickly fell asleep. Di Baiming kissed her on the forehead and slowly fell asleep. The next morning, Elder Chu's voice came from Yun Chujio's identity jade token. "All disciples gather at the southern Jade Square in an hour." Yun Chujio had breakfast and bid Di Baiming goodbye. She stood on the chopping board and left the courtyard. When Yun Chujio arrived, many disciples were already gathered at the southern Jade Square. When they saw Yun Chujio flying over, the new disciples greeted her one after another. She smiled and waved at everyone. Then she jumped down from the chopping board and ran to Yun Chu and the others. Not long after, Master Xin Yuan and the 5 peak masters also arrived with the elders. "According to the results of this new disciple trial, you will be redistributed. I hope that you'll continue to cultivate in the future and become the backbone of Spirit Radiance sect as soon as possible. Now Elder Chu will announce the specific names." Master Xin Yuan said briefly, then he asked Elder Chu to announce the names. "The champion of this trial, Yun Chujio, has been directly promoted from a kitchen servant to Elder Sun Bozhong's successor disciple." Boom. Elder Chu's words were like a bucket of cold water poured into a pot of oil. The disciples of Spirit Radiance sect instantly exploded with commotion. The new disciples who participated in the trial were slightly better off. After all, they were very impressed that Yun Chujio was able to obtain the inner core of a Tier 8 demonic beast. However, those old disciples were very dissatisfied. On what basis? A mere servant at the 4th level of spirit enhancement actually became a true disciple in one step. Moreover, Elder Sun Bozhong had been in secluded cultivation. How could they possibly accept Yun Chujio as a true disciple? One had to know that Elder Sun did not even have one single true disciple. How many inner disciples had sharpened their skills to become Elder Sun's true disciple without success? What did this Yun Chujio have? Silence. From the 2nd to the 30th place in this trial, Liao Chuan Mo Zwa by Moyu by Moru Yun Chuzi Yun Chushan Yun Chu Yun Chulu Yun Chuki Yun Chuba Qing Si Su Yun Chen Dachuan Xiamufing Yuanzhen. They were promoted to inner disciples. From the 30th to the 30th place they are outer disciples. The rest of them are servants. Yun Chujio heard the names of the Bai siblings and Yun Chushan, and then she remembered what the 3 of them had done in the mystic realm. She could not mention the part where they framed Yun Chu, or else it might attract the suspicion of Elder Zhang of Heavenly Gate sect. It might not be a good idea to mention the part where they ran away in the face of battle either. They would use the excuse that she could escape by crushing the jade token. Looks like she would have to wait for another opportunity to get rid of them. After the meeting ended, Qin Dachuan and the other 8 people went to Yun Chujia's side and thanked her one after another. Junior sister Little Jiao, thank you very much. If you hadn't chased Su Yen ran away at that time, we wouldn't have been able to gather so many jade bellflowers, and we wouldn't have been able to advance to an inner sect disciple. In the future, if you need us in any way, just let us know. Yun Chujiu looked at these 8 people. As expected, they were the few disciples of Spirit Radiance sect who did not follow Bai Moyu and the others at that time. That could be considered an indirect reward for not following the others. You're all too polite. You obtained all of this with your true abilities. There's no need to thank me. I hope that everyone will take good care of me in the future. Yun Chujiu said with a smile. When Qin Dachuan and the others saw that Yun Chujiu was so good with words, their impression of Yun Chujiu became even better. In addition, she was now a core disciple, so everyone became even more friendly toward her. From afar, Bai Moru glared at Yun Chujiu and cursed in a low voice. This is dog shit. She's just lucky. A core disciple at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. What a joke. Chapter 334. Teach me how to concoct pills. Bai Moya's eyes flickered a few times. Moru, watch your mouth. Yun Chujiu will be in big trouble very soon. Yanren's cousin will definitely pin Zhang Xiong's death on Yun Chujiu. Elder Zhang and the Heavenly Gate sect will not let this go so easily. Bai Moru stomped her feet hatefully. Brother, I understand. But this Yun Chujiu is really difficult to deal with. Can Elder Zhang do it? Humph. The Heavenly Gate sect has long been dissatisfied with our Spirit Radiance sect. They just happen to use this as an excuse to make things difficult for us. I don't believe that the sect leader and the others will really have a fallout with the Heavenly Gate sect over Yun Chujiu. Yun Chujiu must die this time. Bai Moyu said with certainty. Oh right, there's the few male disciples who have just been promoted to the inner sect. If you have nothing to do, go and get in touch with them. I'll be useful in the future. Bai Moya's eyes flashed as he instructed. Yun Chushan was now obedient to the Bai siblings, so she naturally had no objections. Bai Moru was also happily enjoying the feeling of being adored by everyone, so she also happily agreed. Yun Chujiu finally got rid of the enthusiastic Qin Dachuan and the others, and was once again surrounded by Yun Chuzi and company. After a few moments, Su Yun also joined Yun Chu and the others. She said excitedly, Junior sister Little Jiao, it's all thanks to the things you gave us. Otherwise, how would we be able to rank in the top 30? After killing Zhang Xiong and the other 3, Yun Chujiu gave the spoils of war to Yun Chu and the other 2. She asked them to divide the spoils equally among Yun Chuzi and the others. Yun Chujiu said seriously, Senior sister Su Yun, brothers and sisters, you must keep your mouths shut about the spoils of war that I gave you. You must remember that these things were either obtained by yourselves or picked up by others. Do you understand? Su Yun and the others were stunned at first, then they understood Yun Chujiu's intention and nodded. Little Jiu, we understand. I'm going to the Spirit Herb Garden to look for Elder Qi. We'll talk another day. All of you have to cultivate properly. Don't let others take us as a joke. Yun Chujiu instructed and flew to the Spirit Herb Garden on the chopping board. Elder Qi. I've brought you something good. Elder Qi laughed bitterly. Little Ancestor Yun, don't pull my leg. What good thing can you give me? You've almost taken away all the medicinal herbs out of my Spirit Herb Garden. Yun Chujiu laughed dryly. Elder Qi, didn't I say it? I'm just an ordinary disciple of Spirit Radiance sect. Don't let it slip next time. I did borrow a lot of medicinal herbs from you, but I've really brought you something good this time. La la la, what do you think this is? Elder Qi looked at it casually and then cried out in surprise, this is the fruit of the golden thread grass? Where did you get it? I got it by accident during the trial. You can use it to refine spirit replenishing pills. Yun Chujiu said with a smile. Elder Qi excitedly took the fruit. Little Jiu, what compensation do you want? As long as I have it, I'll give it to you. Yun Chujiu shook her head. Last time it was because of my negligence that the fruit was snatched by the red-clothed pervert. I'm trying to make up for my mistake. I don't need any compensation. Elder Qi saw that Yun Chujiu was reasonable, so he was really not used to it for a moment. Elder Chi, teach me how to refine pills. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. It was really too troublesome to secretly refine pills. Elder Chi was short-handed. Moreover, he originally wanted to train Yun Chujio to be an apprentice alchemist. Now that Yun Chujio had spiritual power, it was not impossible for her to try refining pills. Yun Chujio had a heavenly thunder root spirit. Perhaps she really had the talent to refine pills. However, when Elder Chi thought of the poisonous smoke incident that Manager Gao had reported to him, he was somewhat uncertain. Was Yun Chujio really of pill refining material? Chapter 335. Would definitely not release any poisonous smoke this time. How about this, little Gio? I'll first teach you the simplest hemostatic pill to see if you have the potential to refine pills. Come with me. Elder Chi brought Yun Chujio directly to the pill refining room up front. Manager Gao saw that Elder Chi had arrived and hurriedly came forward to welcome him. Elder Chi, is there anything you need? Open up an alchemy room. I want to teach Yun Chujio how to refine a hemostatic pill. What the hell? The surrounding disciples were instantly shocked. Elder Chi was a grade 8 alchemist. Not just in Spirit Radiance Sect 2. He was one of the few in the entire Qingxian continent. Now he actually wanted to personally teach Yun Chujio how to refine a grade 1 hemostatic pill? Was that not overdoing it? He could just find someone else to teach her, right? Moreover, was Yun Chujio not already accepted as Elder Sun's personal disciple? Why did Elder Chi still want to teach her? Everyone's gazes shifted to Ding Lang, whether intentionally or unintentionally. Although Ding Lang was Elder Chi's true disciple, Elder Chi was always focused on refining pills and rarely gave him pointers. Now he was personally giving pointers to an outsider like Yun Chujio. Master, the hemostasis pill is only a grade 1 pill. There's no need to trouble you to do this. Let me teach Yun Chujio. A trace of malice flashed through Ding Lang's eyes. This Yun Chujio first became enemies with my younger brother, and now she's trying to humiliate me. Sooner or later it'll cripple her. Elder Chi felt that Ding Lang's words were not without reason, so he nodded. Alright, since that's the case, I'll let you demonstrate and I'll explain it to little Gio. Ding Lang felt even more uncomfortable in his heart. You've never cared about me this much. What kind of bewitching potion did Yun Chujio give you that you're actually so partial to her? Ding Lang demonstrated the refining method for the hemostasis pill. An hour later, Ding Lang opened the lid of the pill furnace, and a wave of medicinal fragrance wafted into the pill refining room. The disciples gathered around and cried out in surprise when they saw the pills at the bottom of the pill furnace. Heavens! An 80% success rate, and 6 of them are high-grade pills. Senior brother Ding Lang is indeed our Middle Peaks Alchemy senior. Such a success rate is too amazing. That's right, senior brother Ding Lang will advance to a grade 5 alchemist very soon. Such a talent can be said to be rare in Qingxian continent. Elder Chi nodded slightly. Ding Lang's aptitude was not bad, but he was a little impetuous. Yun Chujio, do you want to give it a try? Ding Lang pretended to be enthusiastic as he asked. Sure. This pill refinement isn't that difficult. It looks like it's similar to the kanji in the big kitchen, and it's not as troublesome as stir-frying vegetables. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Since that's the case, then come over and try it. Ding Lang said disdainfully. Humph. She's just a good-for-nothing at the 4th level of the spirit enhancement realm. Does she really think that pill refinement is that simple? I want to see how she will lose her honor. Elder Chi frowned slightly. Why is this Ding Lang so reckless? Yun Chujio just watched it once. How could she possibly pick it up? This little Gio is too much too. Did she really think that refining pills was that easy? However, it's also good in a way. She would be able to stay calm in the future if her spirit was dampened. Yun Chujio walked to the front of the pill furnace and prepared to refine pills. Manager Gao suddenly said, Yun Chujio, wait a moment. Everyone, quickly prepare the cloth and handkerchief, or else you might suffer later. Elder Chi, you should also make some preparations. Every time this Yun Chujio concocts pills, we burst into tears. It's simply comparable to poisonous smoke. Yun Chujio touched her nose unnaturally and coughed dryly. Don't worry. Don't worry. This time it won't happen. I was just fooling around previously. With Elder Chi's explanation this time, I've already understood everything. I definitely won't release any poisonous smoke this time. The more Yun Chujio said that, the more worried the surrounding disciples became. Sure enough, Everyone took out a piece of cloth and prepared to cover their mouths and noses for a while. Chapter content: add media visual text paragraph. The corners of Elder Chi's eyes could not help but twitch. Although he did not make any moves because of his identity as an elder, he was even more uncertain about Yun Chujio. It seemed that little Jio was really not the type to refine pills. Chapter 336. This was impossible. Yun Chujio opened the alchemy furnace in a decent manner. First she put in 2 portions of snake vines, then half of the lotus seeds and then 1 portion of Tsingling Bergenia rhizome. Elder Chi nodded slightly. Yun Chujio's memory was quite heaven-defying. The quantity and order of the herbs were exactly the same. Ding Lang, who was at the side, curled his lips in disdain. Alchemy was not a memorization exercise. The most important thing was the control of spiritual power. If the spiritual power was not well controlled, even if the herbs were put in the right place, it would be useless. Yun Chujio began to form a seal and slowly inject spiritual power into it. It looked decent. Everyone looked at each other in puzzlement. It seemed that Yun Chujio would not produce poisonous smoke this time. It seemed that this step and everything else were done correctly. Just as everyone nodded their heads, Yun Chujio opened the lid of the pill furnace, picked up a few snake vines and threw them in. After a while she opened the lid of the pill furnace again and threw in a few lotus seeds. Everyone's lips could not help but twitch. Did this person really think that pill refinement was the same as stir-frying vegetables? If it was bland she would put in some salt, but if it was bitter she would put in some sugar? The greatest taboo in pill refinement was to open the lid of the pill furnace midway. Not only would this cause the heat to dissipate, it would also waste spiritual energy. This pill would definitely be useless. Elder Chi also shook his head slightly. However, this was little Jio's first time refining, so it was inevitable that she would make mistakes. After all, an average person would only succeed after failing at least 1,000 times in pill refinement. Ding Lang's eyes flashed with pride. This Yun Chujio did not even know the most basic knowledge of refining pills. Sooner or later her master would lose patience with her. At that time he would cripple her with little bits of tricks. After a quarter of an hour, Yun Chujio withdrew her spiritual power and said with a smile, "Success." As Yun Chujio said this, she was about to open the lid of the pill furnace. "Wait. Yun Chujio, it will take at least an hour to refine the hemostasis pill. It's not the time yet. I'm afraid that the herbs inside are probably all just juice." Manager Gao kindly reminded Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio giggled. "Cooking can be divided into cooking with big and small fires. You guys simmer it slowly over a small fire, which I stir-fry it in a hurry. The effect is the same." The corner of Manager Gao's eyes twitched. What nonsense! Can stir-frying and pill refinement be the same? Everyone also curled their lips. This Yun Chujio really did not know what was good for her. Manager Gao was right. Before the time was up, the medicinal herb juice definitely would not take shape. It would take at least an hour. There had never been anyone who could refine a cauldron of pills in a quarter of an hour. This Yun Chujio was just waiting to be slapped in the face. Elder Chi did not say anything because from his point of view, the cauldron of pills was definitely useless. It did not matter if it was opened earlier or later. After all, it was her first time refining, so it was normal for her to fail. Yun Chujio opened the lid of the cauldron with a smile. Immediately, a rich medicinal fragrance filled the air. Everyone thought to themselves, they did not expect the medicinal liquid to be quite so fragrant. Meddlesome disciples went forward and looked at the bottom of the alchemy furnace with disdain. Then they were all dumbfounded. Ding Lang saw that everyone was stunned. He could not help but curl his lips in disdain. These idiots, it's just some medicinal juice. Could it be that they thought Yun Chujio could really refine pills? Elder Chi saw that Yun Chujio was still smiling and was not affected by the blow. He nodded slightly. This child's mentality was not bad. Thus he said encouragingly, "Little Jio, refining pills isn't that easy. You have to go through thousands of failures before you can succeed. It doesn't matter if you fail this time. Continue to work hard in the future." At that moment a disciple cried out, "No, this is impossible." This disciple's cry seemed to have woken up the rest of the stunned crowd. They also began to cry out. Chapter 337. One-hit wonder. How is this possible? How can Yun Chujio have 100% success rate? Yeah, and there are 8 high-grade pills. It's even better than senior brother Ding Lang's success rate and quality. How's this possible? Ding Lang heard them and shouted angrily, "You guys are talking nonsense. How can Yun Chujio?" Ding Lang walked closer, and when he saw the pills at the bottom of the pill furnace, he stopped talking. He saw that there were 10 round hemostatic pills at the bottom of the pill furnace. 8 of them were high-grade and 2 were middle-grade. Impossible. How could this trash of a person Yun Chujio be more powerful than a 4th-grade alchemist like him? This was impossible. When Elder Qi heard the crowd's discussion, he also came forward to take a look. An extremely shocked expression plastered his face. After being stunned for a moment, his heart shook violently. That's right. Elder Duanmu had once said that heavenly root spirits might have a hidden talent. Could it be that Yun Chujio's talent was not a photographic memory, but an astonishing talent in pill refinement? Elder Qi took out the medicinal pill at the bottom of the pill refinement cauldron and sniffed it carefully. It was true. That was a high-grade hemostatic pill. "Little Jio, refine another cauldron," Elder Qi said with a trembling voice. Yun Chujio was a little dumbfounded. She had already taken it easy. She did not even make a supreme-grade item, yet it was still so sensational. Was she too strong, or were these people too weak? Yun Chujio started making a second batch. Ding Lang came back to his senses and thought to himself that perhaps the previous batch was a lucky coincidence. This batch would definitely fail. It would definitely. The surrounding disciples also felt that the situation was a little unbelievable. Although Yun Chujio had come to the alchemy room to fiddle around a few times before, she had failed every time. How could she be so heaven-defying all of a sudden? Could it be that it was just a coincidence? Yun Chujio did the same thing and added medicinal herbs into the alchemy furnace at a leisurely pace. Then she continued to add a few medicinal herbs from time to time. 15 minutes later, the rich medicinal fragrance once again filled the entire alchemy room. Elder Qi rushed to the front impatiently. With trembling hands, he opened the lid of the cauldron. 10 round pills appeared at the bottom of the cauldron. It was still 100% success rate. 8 high-grade pills and 2 middle-grade pills. The crowd immediately burst into an uproar. Could be said that the first time was a fluke, but the result was the same both times. This could only mean that Yun Chujio was truly a genius in pill refining. It seems like the reason why Yun Chujio released the poisonous smoke in the past was because she was experimenting. Once she had the guidance of a master teacher, she was then heading down the correct path. That's right. Junior sister Little Jio's perseverance is worth learning from. Every time junior sister Little Jio came to practice, she would carry a huge sack of medicinal herbs on her back. The poisonous smoke was so terrifying, but she wasn't afraid at all and continued to persevere. This is the power of perseverance. In the future, junior sister Little Jio will be my idol. She will definitely become Qingxian Continent's pride in the future. Elder Qi was stunned for a moment before he laughed out loud. Good. Good. In the future you will learn alchemy from me, Little Jio. With your talent you'll soon surpass me. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Elder Qi, how can I compare to you? As long as I can learn half of your abilities, you'll be satisfied. Elder Qi said, Good. Good. If it wasn't because of your identity, I would definitely take you in as my last disciple. However, this isn't a big deal. From tomorrow onward, as long as you have the time, come and look for me. I'll teach you everything that I've learned in my life. Ding Lang was so angry that his face turned ashen. With great difficulty, he suppressed his jealousy and asked with a smile, Master, then can I follow Yun Chujio and learn from you too? Elder Qi frowned slightly. You'd better practice on your own first. I've taught you everything I can. What's left is personal comprehension and practice. Little Jio, let's go. Follow me back to the Spirit Herb Garden. I need to ask you a few questions. Looking at Elder Qi and Yun Chujio's bouncing back, Ding Lang's eyes turned red with anger. Very good, old man. Smelly girl. Since you've humiliated me like this, don't blame me for being merciless. Chapter 338. Why is the pill furnace missing? Elder Qi brought Yun Chujio back to his residence. After opening the isolation array, he asked, Little Jio, why do you add medicinal herbs into the pill furnace from time to time? Elder Qi, only you would ask me to tell the truth. Actually, I discovered that the quality of the medicinal pills is closely related to the purification of the medicinal herbs. I used my spiritual sense to sense the changes in the medicinal herbs and then added the medicinal herbs according to the needs. What? Are you kidding me? Elder Chi thought that there was something wrong with his ears. A person's spiritual sense was extremely fragile, and the temperature in the pill furnace was extremely high. Sending one's spiritual sense into the pill furnace was basically no different from committing suicide. Why you said to send one's spiritual sense into the pill furnace? Elder Chi felt that he must have misheard. Yes. It's so warm and comfortable. Elder Chi, you can try it next time. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Elder Chi shook his head like a rattle drum. His spiritual sense was already damaged, so he did not want to court death. That was right. She had a heaven-defying thunder root spirit. She was not even afraid of being struck by lightning, let alone this some earth fire. Elder Chi sighed and then said, refining pills in the pill refining room isn't a long-term solution. I have a pill furnace that I used in the past. Although the quality isn't great, it's enough for you to use as a beginner. Elder Chi took out a pill furnace from his storage ring and handed it to Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio looked at it and knew that this pill furnace was very old. She then said with a straight face, Elder Chi, this pill furnace alone isn't enough. I still need refining flints. Please give me 100 or so refining flints. The corner of Elder Chi's mouth twitched slightly. This Yun Chujio really squeezed each opportunity dry. He heard that she won 2 million spirit stones from the Heavenly Gate sect, and she was even greedy for his refining flints. Elder Chi had no choice but to give Yun Chujio 100 pieces of refining flints, and then said, now I'll explain the refining method for stasis dissolving pills to you. Elder Chi explained and demonstrated and finally refined 10 stasis dissolving pills, 8 upper grade pills and 2 middle grade pills. Little Jiu, you try it. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes. She could not be more powerful than Elder Chi, right? Then she better hide it. Thus, Yun Chujio finally refined 10 stasis-dissolving pills, but 7 of them were high-grade and 3 were middle-grade. Elder Chi was ecstatic. Ha! Genius. Indeed a genius in pill refining. Little Jiu, your future is limitless. Hurry up and cultivate. As your spiritual power increases, the variety of pills you can refine will increase. Yun Chujio nodded. Elder Chi, I understand. Then I'll head back first today. I'll come by to bother again when I have time. It's not a bother. It's not a bother. Other than the high-level spirit herbs in the spirit herb garden, feel free to use the others. If there's anything you don't understand, feel free to ask me. Elder Chi now found Yun Chujio pleasing to the eye. If she was not the true disciple of Ancestor Linghua, he would have snatched her over to be his disciple no matter what. After Yun Chujio thanked him, she wrote on the chopping board and returned to the dormitory. Prince Charming. Prince Charming. Did you miss me? Does it feel like it's been 3 years since we last saw each other? Yun Chujio started to shout as soon as she entered the courtyard. Di Baiming was drinking tea when he heard Yun Chujio's words. He almost choked. Cough cough. Black thing, can't you be more calm? How are you a girl if you're constantly acting crazy? Don't you like my craziness? If I change, I'm afraid you'll regret it. Yun Chujio moved to Di Baiming's side and said with a cheeky smile. Then she snatched Di Baiming's teacup and drank from it. Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio had finished drinking, so he poured another cup and continued drinking the tea nonchalantly. And Feng gestured at an een with his mouth. When the Honorable Sir met Miss Jiu, he had long forgotten all that nonsense about cleanliness. If it was anyone else who touched the teacup with their hands, the Honorable Sir would not even be able to take the teacup, let alone drink the tea. What did you do today? Di Baiming asked indifferently. The results from the trial was announced. Oh right, I even pretended to learn alchemy from Elder Chi. He even gave me an alchemy furnace that he used. I'll take it out for you to see. Why is the alchemy furnace missing? That's strange. Yun Chujio exclaimed. Chapter 339. It was a monster. Yun Chujio rummaged through the storage ring for a long time. I clearly put it in this storage ring. How did it disappear? What the hell? Di Baiming frowned slightly. Could it be that you put it in the other 2 storage rings? Yun Chujio used her divine sense to rummage through it again. No, the other 2 don't have it either. Could it be that the alchemy furnace could grow legs and run away? Even if it had legs, it wouldn't be able to run away. At that time the rolling pin said weakly, Master. Master. I'll report it. Yun Chujio took out the rolling pin from the storage ring. Little flame, what happened? The rolling pin said with a sobbing voice, Master. I agreed to it, but please don't put me and the monster in the same ring in the future. I watched it eat the alchemy furnace. Monster? What monster? Yun Chujio was confused and asked. It's your other alchemy furnace. Sob sob, it's a monster. So scary. Sob sob, it scared me to death. The rolling pin was obviously scared. The other alchemy furnace? Yun Chujio took out an alchemy furnace from her storage ring. It was the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace that Di Baiming gave her. Yun Chujio looked at it carefully and did not find anything unusual. Was this knit a higher grade alchemy furnace? The rolling pin said with a trembling voice, Master. Yes, that's it. It ate that alchemy furnace. Yun Chujio looked at Di Baiming. Prince Charming, can this Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace eat an alchemy furnace? Di Baiming frowned. That's not possible. It's impossible for an alchemy furnace to have a weapon spirit. Moreover, even if it has a weapon spirit, it wouldn't eat other alchemy furnaces. Yun Chujio was a little doubtful. After all, the rolling pin would not lie. Moreover, the alchemy furnace that Elder Qi gave her had indeed mysteriously disappeared. There was no other explanation other than being eaten by the furnace. Just as Yun Chujio was puzzled, she heard a light burp in her consciousness. Who is it? Get out here. Yun Chujio asked with her spiritual sense. Then Yun Chujio heard baby-like sounds which seemed to be very happy. Yun Chujio was dumbfounded. Well, my God. Does the alchemy furnace really not have spiritual sense? Yun Chujio asked timidly. Of course not. Didn't I tell you before? Whether it was the earth fire or the refining flint, they all had the burning effect. That was why no alchemy furnace from ancient times ever produced a spirit. Besides, if the alchemy furnace has a spirit, how great will it be? Wouldn't that mean anyone can become a high-level alchemist? Di Baiming said with certainty. Yun Chujio touched her chin and then coughed dryly. Well, my Prince Charming, I'm afraid this Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace is the first alchemy furnace with a spirit. Di Baiming glared at her. Black thing, don't talk nonsense. How is this possible? Then let's test it out. Which one of you has an alchemy furnace in your storage ring? Take one out and see if the furnace eats it. Yun Chujio shrugged. Di Baiming and the other two really did not have an alchemy furnace in their storage rings. Yun Chujio suddenly remembered that she put Zhang Xiong's and the other two storage bags into the storage ring that she got from Xue Wuji. She rummaged through the storage ring and found an alchemy furnace. She quickly took it out. Chapter 340. Glutton Pill Furnace. Yun Chujio placed the pill furnace and Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace on the stone table. Then she said with her divine sense, Little baby, eat. The Heaven and Earth Furnace did not move. And Feng could not help but say, Miss Jiu, don't joke around. It's impossible for this pill furnace to have a spirit. Besides, even if it does, it's impossible for it to eat other pill furnaces. And Feng's words came to an abrupt end as the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace slowly approached the other furnace. What was that? This thing could move on its own? Fuck, could this be a dream? And Feng pinched himself secretly, grimacing in pain. It seemed to be real. It was not a dream. Oh my God. Everything's incredible when it came to Miss Jiu. If people knew about the pill furnace that had a spirit, would they not fight over it? With such a pill furnace, the chances of forming pills would definitely increase greatly, and the quality of the pills would also be easier to control. However, it was true that it had a spirit. Did that mean it would gnaw on other furnaces? The four people's eyes were fixed on the stone table. Seeing that no one was stopping it, the Heaven and Earth Universal Furnace began to speed up. When it approached the other alchemy furnace, the part of the ordinary alchemy furnace that was close to it visibly softened. Finally, it turned into a liquid. Then, the lid of the Heaven and Earth Furnace opened automatically and the liquid went into the Heaven and Earth Furnace's opening. Everyone was dumbfounded. And Feng in particular had his mouth wide open. His eyes were as wide as copper bells. That was not a freaking alchemy furnace. That was a monster. In a short while, that alchemy furnace had been eaten by the Heaven and Earth Furnace. Yun Chujio stretched her neck and looked into it. There was nothing there and she did not know where the juice had gone. Then faint burps and cheerful babbling sounds could be heard in her spiritual sense. Yun Chujio laughed dryly. Actually it's nothing. It's just a spirit. My rolling pin has a spirit too. Eating is normal as well. Even Furry and the rolling pin eats. The rolling pin said weakly, Master, but I can't eat another pin? Master, please don't put me with that monster. I'm so scared. Chujio said with a smile, don't worry. I guess it's not interested in you. It's just eating the alchemy furnace. Otherwise it would have eaten you long ago. Prince Charming, where did you get this heaven and earth universal furnace? I've never seen it eat before. It has been kept in the warehouse all this time. Nothing unusual has happened. Beiming thought to himself. Could it be that it was formed after being refined by this glutton? Chujio blinked her eyes and said, Prince Charming, are you using the isolation array now? Then I'll try to use this heaven and earth universal furnace to refine pills and see how it differs from an ordinary alchemy furnace. Beiming nodded and asked Feng and Yin to increase their vigilance and keep an eye on the situation outside. Chujio thought about it and decided to refine a level 4 exploding spirit pill since she had never refined an exploding spirit pill before. Chujio took out the flint stone and lit it. She then placed the furnace on it. Initially Chujio was worried that the spirit would be burned to death. However, she did not expect to hear a satisfied squeak from her consciousness. It was as pleasant as eating a cold watermelon on hot days. Chapter 341, Golden Pill Patterns. Chujio added the herbs according to the steps. During the refining process, she used her spiritual sense to observe the degree of purification of the herbs. Then she added different types of herbs. It seemed that everything was no different from using other pill furnaces. Prince Charming, this furnace is no different from other pill furnaces. Could it be that it's just a foodie? Chujio muttered. Open the lid of the furnace and take a look. Beiming felt that the heaven and earth universal furnace would definitely not be so simple. Chujio slowly opened the lid of the furnace and instantly, the entire small courtyard was filled with an extremely rich medicinal fragrance. Oh my god. Miss Ju, this is too exaggerated. I feel that spiritual power is drilling into my body just from smelling this medicinal fragrance. Feng shouted in surprise. Chujio took out a pill from the bottom of the pill furnace and looked at it. Those with pill patterns are super-grade pills, but they're gray in color. What does this golden pill pattern mean then? Beiming shook his head. He had never heard of pills with golden pill patterns before. The strange grass in Chujio's dantian suddenly became excited and kept clamoring to eat the pills. You foodie. You only know how to eat all day long. Chujio muttered a few words, then picked up a piece of pill and swallowed it like candy. The strange grass did not stop even after having the pill and still clamored to have more. Chujio stuffed the pill into her mouth one by one, and in the end there was only one left. Feng took it and said, Miss Jo, let me test the efficacy of this pill. Feng swallowed the pill with golden patterns. Then he realized that the spiritual energy in the small courtyard was crazily surging into Feng's body. Beiming simply waved his sleeve and withdrew the isolation array. Feng could see the spiritual energy within 1,000 feet surging toward him. After a quarter of an hour, Feng stood up and said excitedly, Oh my god! Is this an explosive spirit pill? It's even more overbearing than the level 7 spirit gathering pill I've eaten before. If I take this when I'm fighting enemies, it'll definitely be able to quickly replenish my spiritual power. Miss Jo, please hurry up and refine a few more furnace full and give me a few bottles. Beiming set up the isolation array again and said to Chujio, Black Thing, don't use this heaven and earth furnace in front of others in the future. Otherwise it'll bring you trouble. Chujio said with sparkling eyes, Got it. Prince Charming, you're so nice. I'll refine a few more pills for you. Beiming's ears felt slightly hot, but he pretended to be calm. Chujio did not stop refining a few more bottles of blood coagulation pills and explosive spirit pills. The strange grass in her dantian kept screaming hungry, hungry, hungry. Just feeding it needed more than 10 ordinary furnaces worth. Beiming and the others were all dumbfounded. There was no need to even mention Chujio's rate and quality of pill formation, but even her speed seemed to be increasing. What the hell? Originally, half a day was needed for normal pill refining. Chujio needed a quarter of an hour at the beginning, and suddenly she only needed a quarter of that time. Chujio was constantly seen working hard like Little Bee, constantly walking to and fro the furnace to add herbs. In the end, because there were no more refining flints and she had to stop. And Feng, go out and buy some flint for me. Then buy some herbs according to the list. Oh right, get a few more ordinary pill furnaces to feed my little Tian Tian. In order to get a few more bottles of these strange pills, and Feng eagerly went. He only remembered halfway that Miss Jiu did not give him any spirit stones. Ugh. Chapter 342. Strong deity turned soft and gentle in less than 2 hours. And Feng bought the items back and then said with an apologetic smile, Miss Jiu, these things cost a total of 80,000 spirit stones. Have a look. Yun Chuju looked at him and said with a smile, do you want 80,000 spirit stones or the one-of-kind pills that I refined for you? And Feng saw the look of disdain in his superior's eyes and immediately became terrified. Of course I want the pills. Miss Jiu, please take it as if I was talking nonsense. Yun Chuju giggled, I'm kidding. I'm a reasonable person. We're friends. Why would I cheat you? Take it. Yun Chujio transferred 80,000 spirit stones to Enfeng and continued to make the pills. Enfeng and An were stunned. Friends? Miss Jiu said that she was friends with them? They were the Lord's subordinates and Miss Jiu was a lady that the Lord liked. How could she treat them as friends? Although the women of Tianyuan continent wanted to get close to the Lord and please him, the disdain in their eyes toward them could not be hidden. Only Miss Jiu did not treat them as servants. Di Baiming looked at the two stunned people and then shifted his gaze to Yun Chujio who was focused on refining pills. With the increase of spiritual power, Yun Chujio's skin had become fair, especially her eyes, which were like a pool of spring water, bright and lively. Di Baiming felt his heart beat faster and faster, thinking of the lingering words between the two. A certain someone's face turned red again. Yun Chujio's alchemy finally came to an end. Then she fed the alchemy furnace that she bought to the heaven and earth furnace. The heaven and earth furnace was probably already full so it only ate one alchemy furnace and stopped eating thereafter. Yun Chujio put it and the alchemy furnaces into her storage ring. The rolling pin did not dare to go in no matter what, so Yun Chujio could only put the rolling pin into another storage ring. Yun Chujio kept some pills for herself and gave some to Di Baiming and the others. Then she touched her stomach and said, Idol, let's have dinner. I'm starving. After the two of them had dinner and chatted for a while outside, Yun Chujio yawned and said that she was sleepy. Refining pills consumed a lot of spiritual power. Only a weirdo like Yun Chujio would be able to endure it. The two of them washed up briefly. Yun Chujio climbed to the side of the bed and yawned as she said, Idol, sing the lullaby. Di Baiming frowned. Didn't we agree yesterday? I'll only sing it once. I won't sing it anymore. Di Baiming thought to himself. He was a majestic overlord. How could he sing the lullaby for others? It would be so embarrassing if it got out. He could not sing it no matter what. Yun Chujio pouted. Prince Charming, my hand is cramping from refining pills today. Who do you think I'm doing this for? Can't you feel a little sorry for me? Prince Charming, I beg you just sing one more time. Di Baiming's determination was immediately shaken. Should he sing one last time? Prince Charming. My good Prince Charming, please pity me. Yun Chujio hugged Di Baiming's arm and shook it. Her little head rubbed against Di Baiming's chest. Di Baiming's determination had long disappeared as he hummed in a low voice. The moon is bright, the wind is still, the leaves cover the window lattice. The crickets chirp, chirp, chirp like the sound of the zither strings. The sound of the zither is soft and melodious. The cradle is swaying gently. Ah, my little Gio, close your eyes, sleep with that, sleep in your dream. Prince Charming, pat me. Di Baiming could only raise his hand and pat Yun Chujio slowly and rhythmically as he sang. Yun Chujio was extremely proud in her heart. Little fellow, no matter how strong your heart is, I can still turn you into a soft and gentle person. Little gigolo, sooner or later you'll be my slave. Chapter 343. Residence. The next day Yun Chujio opened her eyes feeling refreshed. Di Baiming had woken up a long time ago. He was afraid that he would wake Yun Chujio up so he just laid there and did not get up. Yun Chujio hugged Di Baiming's neck and kissed his face. Good morning, Prince Charming. Di Baiming was overjoyed but he said, it's early in the morning. Don't mess around. Yun Chujio laughed evilly. Tisk, my handsome man. Are you not happy that I kissed you? I simply must kiss you today. Yun Chujio pounced on Di Biming and gnawed his face. Di Biming felt that if he did not do anything he would be worse than a beast. Hence Yun Chujio left the house with red and swollen lips. Damn it. Damn gigolo. He usually looked sullen, but when he kissed her he was really fierce. I can't go out today. Otherwise it would be hilarious if people saw me. And Feng and Yin saw Yun Chujio, so they quickly ran to the corner to pass time. Just after breakfast, the voice of the manager of the affairs office came from the identity jade token, asking all the new disciples to go to the affairs office to be reassigned to their departments and accommodation. Yun Chujio had no choice but to take out a gauze to cover her face and fly to the affairs department on the chopping board. When Yun Chu and the others saw Yun Chujio covered with the gauze, they could not help but ask curiously, "Little Jio, why are you covered with the gauze?" "Well, I have a rubella," Yun Chujio said with incomparable calmness. Everyone did not suspect her and only asked a few questions with concern. Yun Chujio quietly changed the topic and started to talk about the accommodation. The person in charge of the distribution department and the residence was still Qi Sheng. However, this time his attitude toward Yun Chujio and the others had taken a 180-degree turn. Last time he was as cold as ice, but this time he was as warm as spring. "Junior sister Little Jio, you're a personal disciple. You can choose a residence in the upper part of the middle section of Middle Peak. The spiritual qi there is much stronger than at the foot of the mountain." Qi Sheng was afraid that Yun Chujio would look for trouble, so he said with a smile. Yun Chujio blinked her eyes, thought for a moment and said, "My master is still in secluded cultivation, so I won't change my accommodation for the time being. Let's talk about it after my master comes out of cultivation." Not only Qi Sheng but everyone was stunned. Was Yun Chujio stupid? She was living at the foot of the mountain, and the spiritual qi there was far inferior to the spiritual qi in the personal disciple area. Besides, she was living in the servants' dormitory in the Middle Peak's big kitchen. How demeaning. Yun Chu tugged at Yun Chujio's sleeve. "Little Jio, don't be willful." Yun Chujio smiled at her. "Fifth sister, I have my own plans. You guys choose yours." Yun Chu and the others were already used to listening to Yun Chujio's words. Seeing that she insisted, they went along with her. After exiting the office, Rolling Pin asked in puzzlement, "Master, why didn't you change your residence?" "Of course there's a reason. Right now my residence is remote and there aren't many people coming. It's the best. Firstly, Gigolo and Black Chicken Head often comes to look for me. These two are fearless masters. It wouldn't be good if others got caught in this. Secondly, I have too many secrets. It's better if I don't attract attention. Thirdly, and most importantly, I'll always attract lightning. It won't be good if I implicate others. My current living quarters is close to the back of the mountain, which is great because I can run back there if needed." As soon as Yun Chujio finished speaking, dark rolling clouds began to gather in the sky. Yun Chujio looked up and said in a calm tone, "Look, speaking of the devil. Let's go to the back of the mountain." The most infuriating thing was that this fellow's mouth was especially sarcastic, and she could curse you without any obscene words. However, it had no choice. It had to come because it was a mission. At that moment, the dark clouds was thinking in its heart, "It'll just strike a couple times. It can't kill her anyway. I'd better let the heavens think of another way to kill her." Yun Chujio was a little unhappy when she saw that the dark clouds was unenthusiastically striking her. "Hey, you in the sky. Have you not eaten yet? If you want to strike me, be quick. I'm still waiting for lunch. What are you waiting for? If you don't strike me, I'm going to scold you." The dark clouds in the sky had a mental breakdown. "Why are you still threatening me? Besides, could you not scold me anymore? You've clearly scolded me for quite a while just now." The dark clouds in the sky struck a pot and smashed it. With a crackling sound, it struck down the remaining heavenly lightning and flew away as if it was fleeing. "In future hacking mission, I will not accept it anymore. I will not do anything. It hurts my pride too much." Chapter 345. He was called Di Bayu Master Shenyuan, and the others also paid attention to the situation at the back of the mountain. They strictly forbade their disciples from approaching the back of the middle peak. Master Xianyuan felt that he should issue a sect rule to make the back of the middle peak a forbidden area. Yun Chujio saw that the dark clouds had drifted away. She jumped into Di Baiming's arms and said, "Prince Charming, I was struck so miserably. Please carry me back." The corner of Di Baiming's eyes twitched. The dark clouds in the sky seemed even more miserable. When it floated away, it seemed to be trembling. However, with the soft ball of a person in his arms, Di Baiming's heart melted. He immediately carried Yun Chujio and walked down the mountain. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. Someone was coming. Di Baiming's eyes flashed. There was no harm in seeing them. Sure enough, they met Master Xianyuan, the 5 peak masters, and a group of elders not far away. At that moment, Yun Chujio was touching Di Baiming and he did not stop her. Yun Chujio's hand was reaching into Di Baiming's clothes. Cough. Cough. Master Xianyuan felt that it was a little harsh on his eyes, so he quickly coughed dryly. Yun Chujio was busy taking advantage of him just now and did not notice the arrival of these people. She sheepishly withdrew her hand and screamed, "Ah! I was knocked unconscious." Everyone was speechless. "Can you please act more realistically? Aren't you looking down on our intelligence like that? You looked like a pervert just now and suddenly you fainted. Who are you kidding?" The crowd could not be bothered to expose her, so they turned their attention to Di Baiming. Everyone was shocked. What an outstanding young man. He was dressed in a white brocade robe and his facial features were as handsome as ever. What was more shocking was this person's aura. His gaze was sharp, the aura of superiority was undoubtedly revealed. Everyone could not help but take a few steps back, and even had a faint desire to submit to him. Everyone was even more shocked to discover that they could not see through this young man's cultivation base. That could only mean that this young man's cultivation base was actually higher than everyone else's. He looked to be less than 20 years old, but he actually possessed such profound spiritual power. It was really unbelievable. Yun Chujio, who was pretending to be unconscious, slowly realized that everyone did not know Di Baiming. She jumped down from his arms and acted as if nothing had happened. Fortunately, her lips were no longer so swollen, or else she would really be too ashamed to see anyone. She said with a smile, "Sect Master. Hello everyone. When did you arrive?" The corners of everyone's eyes twitched. "You're too good at pretending. Come, let me introduce everyone. This is the benefactor who saved me last time. His name is Didi Bayu," Yun Chujio said with a smile. Di Baiming staggered. "Good, very good. Just you wait, black thing. So it's Master Di. Thank you for saving my disciple. Please come to the meeting hall and let us be good hosts." Master Xianyuan said politely. Yun Chujio was about to reject on behalf of Di Baiming, but he nodded lightly. "Master Xianyuan, please. Everyone please." Yun Chujio was stunned. What did the gigolo mean? Was he not always hiding? Why did things suddenly change this time? Di Baiming saw that Yun Chujio was stunned, so he grabbed her little claws and led her forward. Master Xianyuan and the others exchanged glances. Oh my god. They did not expect that little Jio's peach blossoms would bloom so brightly. She had actually hooked such an outstanding husband. This young man had an extraordinary background, and his looks and spiritual power were so outstanding. Little Jio was simply lucky. Chapter 347. Heartbroken Master D. No matter what, you've saved our Spirit Radiant sect disciple. Please stay for a few more days and let us be good hosts. Master Xianyuan said with a smile. Di Baiming nodded. Thank you. Then I'll have to trouble you. Master D. Then I'll send someone to bring you to our sect's guest house later. Then I'll send a disciple to accompany you around Spirit Radiant sect. Master Xianyuan said very politely. Such an outstanding young man must not be offended. Moreover, he had the support of Kunping Immortal Island. Di Baiming shook his head. Master Xianyuan, there's no need to trouble you. I'll just stay at little Jio's place for a few days. What was that? What did this Master D mean? What did he mean by staying at little Jio's place for a few days? Did they misunderstood him? Was Yun Chujio's place not just a room? The two of them wanted to be in the same room together? When Yun Chujio heard Di Baiming call her little Jio for the first time, her heart felt numb and her thick old skin started to turn pink as she said shyly, "Wasn't he severely injured last time? I was the one who took care of him. Us normal people don't have so many scruples. Besides, he's still young. Don't worry, he'll be sleeping on the floor." Everyone felt that their old hearts could not take it anymore. Young people nowadays were too bold and unrestrained. That was right, they did not think too much about it last time. Something could happen, it would have happened last time too. However, Yun Chuju was right. She was still young and this young Master D had a graceful bearing. He would not be so mean to bully little Jio. "Sect Master, if you feel guilty then reward me with some more spirit stones and delicious food. I promise to treat my Prince Charming well. I promise I won't keep it all for myself," Yun Chujio said with a grin. Everyone felt that if she did not add the last sentence, they would believe her even more. With her wild and unruly personality, she would be a ghost if she was not greedy. Master Shenyuan laughed and said, "Little Jio, don't be mischievous. In that case, I'll let you accompany young Master D for a tour around Spirit Radiance Sect. I'll arrange for a banquet. Please be sure to attend when the time comes." Di Baiming nodded. "Thank you." When everyone saw that young Master D did not say much, they exchanged some pleasantries before sending him off. Yun Chujio held Di Baiming's arm and hopped out of the meeting hall. When she saw the scene outside, she was instantly enraged. "But what was the meaning of this? All of you are so flashy. Where's the beauty contest? Do you think Gigolo is a piece of meat? Can all of you wipe your saliva off?" Yun Chujio instantly had a strong sense of crisis. She held Di Baiming's arm even tighter and her entire body leaned on his. "Prince Charming, my feet hurt. Carry me," Yun Chujio said in a sweet voice. The female disciples who were fighting for the Prince Charming were instantly enraged. Prince Charming? From the way she addressed him, he was definitely not an elder brother or uncle. "Yun Chujio, you little girl, you actually touched this handsome man. Your feet hurts? Weren't you jumping around happily just now? Besides, don't you have a chopping board? Why do you want this handsome man to carry you? Shameless." The handsome man definitely wouldn't agree. "Definitely not." The handsome man raised his eyebrows, and then he actually picked up the thick-skinned Yun Chujio and flew away on his sword. Everyone felt their hearts break. How was that possible? How could he turn a blind eye to these delicate flowers and take a fancy to that simpleton grass of a person? Chapter 348. Dantian was about to explode. Yun Chujio made a face at everyone and stuck out her tongue. "Want to covert, Yun Chujius man? In your dreams. Prince Charming, don't you usually hide your tracks? Why did you suddenly reveal yourself this time?" Yun Chujio asked curiously. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. "I was feeling happy. But why did you give me the name Di Bayu?" Yun Chujio blinked her eyes at him. "I was afraid that you wouldn't think of a suitable pseudonym. Besides, there's nothing wrong with the name I gave you. Isn't it suitable?" The corner of Di Baiming's eyes twitched. This black thing was really good at making up lies. If he was not involved, he would have believed her. "Prince Charming, don't call me Black Thing anymore. Little Jio is fine," Yun Chujio said with a slightly red face. It was really strange. Why did she not feel embarrassed when others called her Little Jio? Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. "I think Black Thing is nice. If you continue being noisy, you can ride the chopping board back yourself." Yun Chujio pursed her lips and hugged him even tighter, afraid that Di Baiming would leave her behind. The two of them arrived at the dormitory. Yun Chujio pouted and ignored him as she went into the room angrily. Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. He did not go into the room to comfort Yun Chujio. Instead, he washed his hands and placed the dishes on the stone table. "Black Thing, it's time for lunch. If you don't want to eat, then forget it. You haven't tried these new dishes this time anyway. Maybe you wouldn't like it either." Di Baiming raised his voice and said. As soon as he said that, Yun Chujio rushed out like a small whirlwind. "Who said I wouldn't like it?" The corner of Di Baiming's mouth curled up. He was proud in his heart. He had a lot of experience dealing with a greedy little thing like her. When Yun Chujio was halfway through eating, she suddenly screamed, "Ah, it hurts so much." Di Baiming was shocked. At first he thought that Yun Chujio was pranking him, but when he saw her appearance he immediately became anxious. Yun Chujio's forehead was covered with beads of sweat. She was obviously in extreme pain. Black thing, what's wrong? Biming hugged Yun Chujio and asked anxiously. My dantian hurts. My dantian feels like it's about to explode. Prince Charming, I feel terrible. Yun Chujio's clothes were soon soaked in sweat. Her body was trembling and her eyes were becoming more and more unfocused. Biming was so anxious that the veins on his forehead were popping. He quickly took out a crystal-clear pill from his storage ring and stuffed it into Yun Chujio's mouth. And Feng and An's mouths gaped when they saw the pill. They wanted to say something but stopped. It was a life-saving pill given to him by his honored master. Even if there was only a sliver of life left, one would be saved. They did not expect his honored master to feed it to Miss Ju just like that. Their honored master had completely fallen for her. After Yun Chujio ate the pill, her condition improved. Biming hurriedly said, Black thing, quickly use your spiritual sense to look inside and see what's going on. Yun Chujio used her spiritual sense to look inside and was instantly enraged. She saw that the inside of her dantian had been turned upside down. The great void mirror and the strange grass were fighting. The mirror kept hitting the strange grass with its body. The strange grass then used 3 leaves to hit the mirror. All of you stop. Do you still see me as your landlord? I'm going to die. Then all of you can stop living. If you continue to torment me, I'll cut my abdomen right now. I'll give up my dantian. Most importantly, Biming was both embarrassed and angry. Black thing. Why, you have no sense of shame. What did you say just now? You were going to sell this painting for money? Yun Chujio laughed dryly. My Prince Charming, don't be angry. I was just saying it for fun. How could I bear to let others see this? If others dare to peek at your body, I'll dig out her eyes. Furthermore, my idol, this drawing is meant to relieve the pain of lovesickness. When I think of you, I'll take it out and take a look. Suddenly, my waist is no longer sore and my legs no longer hurt. I can even walk with energy. Yun Chujio saw that Biming was still frowning. She gritted her teeth and said, Idol, if your heart isn't in equilibrium, I'll draw one of me for you. Everyone thought that it made sense. After Yun Chujio was struck by lightning last time, she went from not having any spiritual power to the 4th level of spirit enhancement. Who knew how many levels she would rise this time? Yun Chujio looked at the dark clouds above her head and found it somewhat familiar. Damn it, wasn't this the piece of dark cloud that struck me and the gigolo naked last time? Fuck. See you again. Last time you really struck me hard. This time I'm not the same as before. I've changed my weapon. Strike me, little loach. Since Yun Chujio had a great void mirror in her dantian, she had more confidence. Even though sometimes these two were quite deceptive, sometimes they were quite useful. For example, at that moment, the dark clouds in the sky thought that it had succeeded last time, but it did not expect this little scourge to suddenly become more powerful and more lively. In the end, it could only return empty-handed. Boom, boom, boom. This time, the dark clouds had learned a lesson and directly struck a powerful heavenly thunder as thick as a wrist at Yun Chujio. No matter what, we must get rid of this scourge this time. Defend the dignity of our lightning tribulation. Chapter 351. Thin blue shiitake mushroom. The huge heavenly lightning struck ferociously at Yun Chujio. Yun Chujio sat cross-legged on the ground, completely unconcerned. She used her spiritual sense to speak to the strange grass and the great void mirror in her dantian. Hey. Weren't the two of you fighting over lightning just now? Now's your chance. Swallow it with all your might. Whoever absorbs less will be finished. The strange grass proudly shook its leaves, and the mirror did not want to be outdone either. It scrambled to swallow the incoming lightning. After the last lightning strike, Yun Chujio's veins had been expanded to twice their original size, and they were very strong. Therefore, even if the lightning was very violent, it did not have any effect on her. At first, Yun Chujio was still a little worried, but later she realized that the power of lightning that surged in was not enough for the two of them, so she began acting arrogantly. Hey, little weakling in the sky, can you show me some strength? This is too weak. Are you all so unmotivated when it comes to the lightning tribulations? Why are you getting worse each time? Little weakling, hurry up and strike. I haven't even finished my lunch yet and you've interrupted me. You're so rude. Oh right, are you a male or female cloud? I heard that it's not as tiring when you have a male and female team. Why don't you guys form a team next time? You can strike to your heart's content. You're such a weak lightning bolt. It's like scratching an itch. It's really not satisfying. The dark clouds in the sky began to emit white smoke. Strike, strike, kill this scourge. It was really too hateful. The tribulation lightning that was as thick as a wrist continuously struck down. Yunchujio had 2 little ancestors in her dantian. It was simply too easy, was it not? However, the nearby trees and land were affected. Soon a deep pit was formed where Yunchujio was. Di Baiming could hear Yunchujio mumbling non-stop at the bottom of the pit. Tisk damn lightning. Why did it strike so hard? It's a pity that this spirit potato is so hot. This one is alright. It's charred on the outside but tender on the inside. Not bad. Not bad. Prince Charming, do you want to eat the roasted potatoes? Using heavenly lightning to strike it is better than using a stove to roast it. I don't want any. The corner of Di Baiming's eyes twitched. Even at a time like this you can still think of eating. It's okay if you don't want to eat it. I'll eat it myself. It's charred on the outside but tender on the inside. It's really not bad. I didn't expect for the heavenly lightning strikes to be so weak, but the potatoes turned out not bad. I might as well become a chef in the future. Yunchujio grumbled as she ate. The dark clouds in the sky was about to go crazy from anger. The lightning. The lightning. The lightning. I'm not the chef who roasts potatoes for you. You're fucking infuriating me to death. In a fit of anger, the dark clouds simply strike the spiritual potato in Yunchujio's hand. I'll strike this thing into charcoal and have you eat that. Yunchujio had just peeled a roasted spiritual potato and was about to eat it when it was turned into ashes by the lightning. This fellow was immediately enraged. Fuck. This is too much. It's fine if you strike me. It's shameful to waste food. Be careful not to waste food lest you make a little dark cloud with defects. The dark cloud was so angry. Strike, strike. It had to strike the wicked Yunchujio to death that day. Unfortunately, no matter how it hacked, Yunchujio was still alive and kicking in the pit. Moreover, she was constantly showing off and provoking people. Yes, angry cloud. The dark cloud's heart was broken. Who can tell me why this Yunchujio had become even more abnormal after not seeing her for a few days? Oh, the dark cloud was a blue, thin shiitake mushroom. 1. Chapter 352. Dark clouds with white smoke. After the dark cloud struck randomly, it floated away with white smoke. The disciples of Spirit Radiance sect pointed at the dark cloud in the sky and said, "Ah, this is interesting. Why is that lump of dark cloud giving off white smoke? I thought it was going to rain, but that didn't happen, right? Why is there so much thunder behind Middle Peak today? On top of that, they're all purple heavenly thunder? Who knows? It's not just today. Do you remember the last time? It was even more powerful than this time. The thunderstorm lasted for a full 16 hours. It was so scary. Is there treasure at the back of the mountain? Forget it. If there was, how could the sect leader not dig it out? Then why is there always purple lightning? It's really strange. Who knows? Maybe God doesn't like that hill." Yunchujio waited for the dark clouds to drift away before shouting at Di Baiming, "Prince Charming, I want to change my clothes. You stand guard and don't let those old hooligans come over." Di Baiming's mouth twitched and he nodded lightly. Yunchujio took off her tattered clothes and changed into a new set of sect uniform. Then she flew up on the chopping board. Di Baiming saw Yunchujio's appearance and could not help but smile. The hair that had grown out with great difficulty was hacked off again. Her face was also covered in ashes. Yunchujio touched her head and said self-deprecatingly, "This hair of mine is really in line with a poem. The wildfire cannot be burnt out, but the spring breeze can make it grow again." Di Baiming raised his eyebrows. "Didn't I give you a hair growth pill? Why aren't you using it?" "I was afraid of being exposed in the past but am not anymore. Now we can be considered to have gone from sneaking around to being above board. Hehe. Prince Charming, can you give me another set of clothes?" My sect uniform cannot withstand being hacked. Fortunately, I have you to keep watch. Otherwise, everyone would have seen me. It's best if you give me a lightning-proof hat. Yun Chujio clung to Di Biming's arm. Di Biming frowned. Black Thing is right. If I'm not around when she breaks through next time, won't she be seen by others? I have to find a good defensive robe for her. It would be best if it's an immortal item. Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming was silent and thought that he did not agree, so she began to act shamelessly. Prince Charming, are you reluctant to me? If you don't give it to me, I'll strip you of this robe. As Yun Chujio spoke, she began to strip Di Biming of his clothes. He was still thinking where he could get Yun Chujio an immortal item robe, so he did not stop her immediately. Cough. Cough. Little Jio. Stop. When Master Xianyuan and the others rushed over, they saw Yun Chujio desperately stripping young Master Di's clothes. It was simply unsightly. Master Xuanyuan's old face turned red. This Yun Chujio is too unrestrained. Could it be that Master Di likes this behavior? Only then did Di Biming realize that his clothes had been torn into a mess by Yun Chujio. He hurriedly tidied his clothes and glared at Yun Chujio. Then he nodded at Master Xianyuan as a form of greeting. Yun Chujio was not the slightest bit embarrassed that she had been caught. She smiled and said, Master Xianyuan, my idol said that he would give me a robe. I usually don't ask others for things that I can do myself, so I wanted to just take it. Master Xianyuan felt that he had nowhere to put his face. It was too embarrassing. You can do it yourself without asking others for help. Why do I get a feeling that you were molesting a good man? Master Xianyuan and the others stood where they were and watched the two leave. Then they heard Yun Chujio say, Prince Charming, let's take a bath together later. Shut up. Nonsense. Tisk, Prince Charming, are you shy? It's not like we haven't taken a bath before. Everyone was in a mess. Oh my god. Why did our Spirit Radiance sect have a female pervert? Oh Master Linghua, do you know what kind of disciple you have? If other sects knew that we have such a pervert little ancestor Yun, we would have nowhere to put our old faces. Cough cough. Everyone, Yun Chujio is still young and doesn't have a mother to teach her. It's inevitable that her personality will be a little off. She's naive and romantic. What she says may not be what we think it is. Master Xianyuan coughed dryly twice. He felt that he might really have catch a cold since he coughed several times in such a short period of time. The corners of everyone's eyes twitched violently. We believe our eyes. Yun Chujio had either stripped or touched that young Master Di, and now she even came out said they wanted to bathe together. If she isn't a pervert, then what is she? Chapter 354. Yun Chujio was a little beauty. Yun Chujio was not aware of the resentment of the group of old people behind her as she dragged Di Biming back to the dormitory. Yun Chujio took out a large bathtub from her storage ring and tested the temperature of the water with her hands. She said with satisfaction, It's so convenient to have a storage ring. Everything can be stored in it. Di Biming raised his eyebrows. You have bath water in your storage ring? Yes. Not only do I have hot bath water, I also have blankets, pillows, towels, pots and pans, seasonings, and everything you could ever think of. Even if I were to be thrown into a place where there's nothing, it would be enough for me to live for 2 to 3 years. Yun Chujio's favorite activity was to gather the wool, so the storage ring was filled with all sorts of things. Di Biming's eyes twitched slightly. Then you can take your time to wash up. I'll go out and warn you if needed. Don't we have an Feng and an Yin? Why don't you wash up with me? Yun Chujio blinked her starry eyes as she looked at Di Biming. She felt that teasing the gigolo was a lot of fun. Di Biming's ears turned red as expected. He shouted angrily, Black Thing, I won't forgive you if you continue to spout nonsense. After saying that, Di Biming quickly walked out. No matter how one looked at it, he looked like he was running away in a panic. Yun Chujio let out a laugh that sounded like the rings of silver bells. She took off her clothes and started bathing happily. The gigolo is really innocent. Teasing the gigolo is the most enjoyable activity in life. Di Biming walked out of the house and took a deep breath before he suppressed the restlessness in his heart. This Black Thing is really Sigh, when will she grow up? Di Biming inexplicably thought of Yun Chujia's words. When the time comes, I will suffocate you with my chest. The feeling of his face blushing and his heart beating surfaced once again. When Yun Chujio jumped out of the shower, she saw Di Biming standing at the door with a flushed face. Hey, Prince Charming, what are you daydreaming about? Yun Chujio stretched out her palm and waved it in front of Di Biming's eyes. Di Biming was shocked and said in a panic, nothing. You can wash. Di Biming looked at the little person in front of him and was stunned. Although the little person in front of him did not have any hair, her skin was as white as jade, so tender that it seemed like water could be squeezed out. Her eyelashes were long and thick and her eyes were bright and lively. Her pink lips were slightly pouting as she looked at him in confusion. Di Biming felt his heart beat violently and his throat seemed to have closed up. His mind was blank and he could not say anything. Yun Chujio saw that Di Biming looked like a fool and she could not help but giggle. Prince Charming, what's wrong with you? Let's go and continue having lunch. It should be considered dinner already. After all that, I'm even hungrier. Di Biming was dragged to the side of the stone table by Yun Chujio and finally regained his senses. A strong sense of danger filled his heart. The black thing is becoming more and more beautiful. It's too dangerous. If I'm not by her side, she would definitely attract the covetous eyes of many men. It seems that what I did previously was right. I must let others know that the black thing is mine. After dinner, Yun Chujio leaned back on the recliner and crossed her legs. She took out the hair growth pill and mirror from her storage ring. Then she jumped down from the chair. Damn. How did I become so good looking? As expected, a mask covers 100 ugliness. This little face, these big eyes, this perky little nose bridge and these pink little lips. I'm going to be charmed to death by myself. I accidentally became Qingxian Continent's #1 beauty. I'm really sorry. Recently he had been too indulgent with her. If I wasn't by her side, wouldn't she turn the world upside down? Who knows how many idiots she would attract. Di Biming felt that his idea was not bad. He wanted to use both methods. On one hand, he wanted to let the people of Spirit Radiance sect know that Black Thing was his person so that they would not have any ideas about her. On the other hand, he wanted to re-establish his authority in front of her so that she would not get carried away and attract bees and butterflies. That was right. That was what he was going to do. Thus that night, no matter how coquettishly Yun Chujio acted, Di Biming was determined not to sing the lullaby. He even reprimanded her with a straight face. Black Thing, don't push your luck. If you continue to cause trouble, I won't forgive you. In the future you'll have to buy all your food with your own money. Yun Chujio cursed the gigolo in her heart a few hundred times before falling asleep. Chapter 356. Manners over lust. The next day, Yun Chujio and Di Biming had just finished their breakfast when Yun Chuzi and the others arrived. Yun Chuzi and the others were busy cleaning up their new residence the day before and only heard news about Yun Chujio at night. That she had gotten involved with a handsome man and something about how all the good cabbages had been eaten by pigs. 1. They even encountered conflict with a few female disciples who were gossiping. At that time they wanted to find Yun Chujio and ask her about it. In the end they saw that it was already late, and they believed that little Gio would not act rashly. That was why they decided to go over and clarify in the morning. Good morning, brothers and sisters. Yun Chujio hopped to the entrance and welcomed the 6 people into the courtyard. Yun Chuzi and the others were shocked when they saw Yun Chujio. How did little Gio suddenly become so beautiful? Little Gio, how did you become beautiful? Yun Chuki asked in surprise. Yun Chujio immediately began to show off. Have I? Natural beauty is hard to give up. Gold will shine eventually. I've always been very low-key to hide my beauty, but I didn't expect you to find out. The corners of Yun Chuzi and the others' eyes twitched, and then they saw Di Biming standing in the middle of the courtyard. They finally understood why those female disciples were so crazy to slander little Gio. Such an outstanding man indeed had the ability to make other men feel inferior and make women go crazy for him. However, when the woman who went crazy for him was her sister, it did not feel good at all. Even though she was intimidated by Di Baiming's aura, Yun Chuzi still asked Yun Chujio seriously, "Who is he? Why is he in your courtyard so early in the morning?" Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and said with a smile, "He is the master I mentioned. However, we fell in love at first sight. Oh, he's mine." What the hell? Yun Chuzi and the others were dumbfounded. Master? Fell in love at first sight? He's yours? Yun Chu immediately exploded. "Little Jio, what did you say? Have you already done it?" Seeing that the misunderstanding was getting deeper, Yun Chujio quickly said, No. We've always practiced manners over lust. I'm still young. How can I do that kind of thing? This lady silently added in her heart, "We've only held each other's hands, hugged each other's waists and kissed each other on the lips. Little Jio, come out. We have something to tell you." Yun Chu dragged Yun Chujio out of the courtyard and Yun Chuzi and the others surrounded her. "Little Jio, you're still young. Marriage is no child's play. Don't be willful." Yun Chu said seriously, "Don't worry. Only I can cheat others. No one can cheat me. Moreover, you have to act early. You've seen that those women are like wolves and tigers. If I don't watch them closely, my Prince Charming will definitely be eaten by them," Yun Chujio said with a smile. Yun Chu and the others tried to persuade her for a while. Seeing that Yun Chujio was determined to be with that young Master D, they had no choice but to give up trying to persuade her. Little Jio's idea was pretty good. In any case, young Master D seemed to be more reliable than that by Moyu, so they could only let her be. "Little Jio, if you really like that young Master D, we won't stop you. However, you're still young now, so you mustn't do that kind of thing. Firstly, it's not good for your body. Secondly, since ancient times, to become someone's wife is to become a concubine. You mustn't be willful about it." Yun Chu said seriously. Yun Chujio's heart warmed. "Only those who truly cared about me would think so extensively. Fifth sister, don't worry. I know what to do. I'm still young. The most important thing now is to improve my spiritual power. As for the love between a man and a woman, just let it be." "Little Jio, I heard that young Master D is staying at your place tonight?" Yun Chuzi asked with a frown. Yun Chujio blinked and concocted a lie. "Yes, he's staying at my place because he wants to teach me some cultivation methods. You guys know that I have Thunder Spirit Root and that my cultivation method is different from yours. Did you guys see the heavenly thunder yesterday? They were all here to strike me. If it wasn't for my Prince Charming protecting me, I would have long choked on my farts." Chapter 357. Today is a good day. Yun Chuzi and the others were stunned by Yun Chujio's words. They believed her, having recalled the two terrifying lightning strikes from the day before. "Brothers and sisters, let's go. I'll introduce him to you. In the future he might be your brother-in-law," Yun Chujio said with a smile. Yun Chuzi and the others were speechless when they saw Yun Chujio's eager attitude. "Little Jio, can you be a little more reserved, like a proper girl? Prince Charming, this is my fourth brother, fifth sister, sixth brother, seventh sister, eighth brother, and Miss Jingxi. This is my Prince Charming, Di Bei." Just as Yun Chujio was hesitating, deciding whether to give them his real name or fake name, Di Baiming nodded slightly at the crowd. "I'm Di Baiming. Greetings." Yun Chujio saw that Di Baiming not only took the initiative to introduce himself, but was also humble and polite. He immediately felt that he was very respectful toward them. There was a saying that goes, "A man who respects your family is a man who truly likes you." Although the Prince Charming was arrogant, he was still quite reliable at critical moments. Di Baiming greeted them and took out spirit fruits and pastries from his storage ring and placed them on the stone table. He motioned for everyone to sit and talk. Although Yun Chuzi and the others were a little reserved, in order to test their future brother-in-law's character, they sat down anyway. "Please eat. These pastries and fruits are really delicious. I like them the most." Yun Chujio stuffed the pastries and spirit fruits into everyone's hands and then picked up a piece for herself. Di Baiming picked up the teapot and helped everyone fill up the teacups. Then he handed a cup of tea to Yun Chujio. "I've tested it. It's not too hot. Drink it." Yun Chujio was feeling a little thirsty, so she took the teacup and drank it all in a few gulps. Then she started chatting with Yun Chuzi and the others. Yun Chuzi and the others saw that not only was Di Baiming's spiritual power superb, he was also handsome. On top of that, it was rare for a person to be so considerate to little Gio. No wonder little Gio was moved. He was indeed a good candidate for a husband. After chatting for a while, Yun Chuzi and the others took their leave. Although Di Baiming tried his best to restrain his aura, the noble air of a superior still made Yun Chuzi and the others uncomfortable. "Oh right, fourth brother, your spiritual power is almost consolidated. You can continue to take the spirit-gathering pill." Yun Chuzi and the others took their leave after agreeing. "My Prince Charming, you did well," Yun Chujio said with a cheeky smile. Di Baiming hummed lightly. He had his own plans. Black Thing values her family the most. Now that I've given them an impression, they can help me keep an eye on her to prevent her from attracting bees and butterflies. A voice transmission talisman in Di Baiming's storage ring started vibrating. Di Baiming used his spiritual sense to listen to it. "Black Thing, you've just broken through, and I don't think the heavenly lightning will come again for a short period of time. Leave for some time. Don't mess around or I will not forgive you. Especially with that idiot Shui Wuji. Don't bother with him." Yun Chujio rolled her eyes and pretended to be reluctant that he was leaving. "Do you have to leave? If you leave, who will sing me a lullaby at night? Who will pat me to sleep?" And Feng and An almost fell to the ground in fright when they heard Yun Chujio's words. "What? Our revered one sings lullabies? Pats Miss Jio to sleep? Oh my god, isn't that scene too strange?" Di Baiming glared at Yun Chujio. "Don't spout nonsense. Anyway, cultivate well and don't get involved with men. Don't cause trouble. I'm leaving." Yun Chujio waved her handkerchief and sent Di Baiming away. Then she took out a reclining chair and lay on it to bask in the sun. She hummed happily, "Today is a good day. I can do whatever I want." "Master, what level are you at now?" the rolling pin asked curiously. She said that she was at the 6th level of refining. What a lie. She was already on the 8th level before she leveled up. Chapter 358. Mental damage. Fi Yun Chujio said faintly, "Spirit enhancement? You're underestimating your master. Your master is already at the 2nd level of the spirit cultivator realm." "Master, you've advanced 3 levels all of a sudden?" The rolling pin was dumbfounded. Was it not said that humans had a huge bottleneck from the 9th level of the spirit enhancement realm to the 1st level of the spirit cultivator realm? Why did his master jump from the 8th level of the spirit enhancement realm to the 2nd level of the spirit cultivator realm all of a sudden? This did not follow the rules. It probably has something to do with the primordial chaos vitality pill that the gigolo gave me. If I wasn't afraid that my foundation wouldn't be stable if I rose too much, I think I would have broke through to the 4th level of spirit cultivator realm. Yun Chujio said lightly. The rolling pin finally understood why Patriarch Linghua wanted to take Yun Chujio as his disciple. This master of his was really amazing. She was an absolute monster. Just as Yun Chujio was feeling a little sleepy, the sound of footsteps came from outside the courtyard. "Excuse me, is junior sister Yun here?" a delicate voice asked. Yun Chujio's courtyard had a protective array activated so the people outside could not see what was happening inside, but she could see what was happening outside clearly. Are these people here for the beauty contest?" She saw dozens of female disciples standing outside the courtyard, all dressed beautifully. Yun Chujio's eyes darkened. She did not have any guests in her courtyard for a year. These people must be here for the gigolo. Since that was the case, do not blame her for being ruthless. Yun Chujio did not turn off the protective array. Instead, she walked out of the courtyard and said with a smile, "Senior sisters, is there anything you need from me?" Those female disciples initially thought that young Master D would come out when they saw that the door was open. Each of them were standing in their best posture. When they saw that only Yun Chujio came out alone, they could not help but feel a little discouraged. Moreover, why was Yun Chujio much more beautiful than before? Young Master D must have given her some beautifying medicinal pills. She was really lucky. Yun Chujio, turn off the protective array. We want to see young Master D. A woman wearing the uniform of an inner disciple said with a stiff tone. Yun Chujio curled her lips. "How should I address you, senior sister?" Su Yen, the inner disciple of West Peak. "Yun Chujio, why haven't you gotten rid of the protective array? Is this how you treat your guest?" Su Yen said arrogantly. "Young Master D isn't feeling well and is resting. He can't receive guests now. Yun Chujio sighed and said, "What? Young Master D is sick? He was fine yesterday. Why is he sick today?" "Did you do something? Yun Chujio, did you make young Master D sick?" "Yun Chujio, let me in quickly. I have pills with me." "Yes. I also have nourishing herbs. Let me in." "Sai, I didn't expect that all the senior sisters would be so concerned about young Master D. I'm very touched. Please wait a moment. I'll go in and ask for young Master D's opinion." Yun Chujio entered the courtyard with a whoosh. After a while Yun Chujio came out. "Senior sisters, young Master D said that he appreciates everyone's kindness. He really can't see any guests today. If you feel bad for him you can leave the gifts here," Yun Chujio said with a smile. After hearing Yun Chujio's words, those girls immediately stuffed things into Yun Chujio's arms. "This ginseng is very nourishing. Help me pass it to young Master D. This is a body-strengthening pill. After eating it, it can strengthen the body. You must help me pass it to young Master D. These kumquat fruits can clear and reduce bodily heat. Boil it with rock sugar and drink it. It's very nourishing. If young Master D finds it troublesome to do so, you can look for me to help you boil it." There were more and more things piling up. Yun Chujio could not carry them anymore. She simply asked them to put the things on the ground and then sent them away. Yun Chujio put all the things into her storage ring and then entered the courtyard happily. "Humph! How dare you covet my Prince Charming? I'll take these things as compensation for the mental damage caused by stress." Just as Yun Chujio was taking inventory of the spoils of war, Master Xuanyuan's voice rang out from her identity jade token. "Yun Chujio, come to the drawing room immediately." 1. Chapter 359. Has nothing to do with me. Yun Chujio was very puzzled. Why was Master Xianyuan looking for her? Could it be that he wanted to reward her? Yun Chujio immediately rode on the chopping board and went to the drawing room. Yun Chujio had just entered the drawing room when she felt several malicious gazes looking at her. She glanced at them and realized that they were all old acquaintances. Sitting on the guest seat was the sect master of Heavenly Gates sect, Du Gai. Next to him sat a few elders from their sect. One of the elders with a hooked nose glared at Yun Chujio with bloodshot eyes. He looked as if he wanted to eat her up. Behind these elders stood a few disciples from Heavenly Gates sect. Su Yenran was also among them. She had a cold smile on her face. Yun Chujio first bowed to Master Xianyuan before greeting the people of the Heavenly Gates sect with a smile. Sect leader Du. "Hello old friends of the Heavenly Gates sect. I'm so happy to see you all. I've almost had enough showing off the 2 million spirit stones from before. Are you here to give me spirit stones again?" The people of the Heavenly Gates sect were so angry that their noses were almost crooked. This Yun Chujio really brought up the wrong topic. He was really detestable. "Yun Chujio, pay for my grandson's life. I'm going to kill you." Elder Zhang slammed the table and was actually about to make a move. Master Xianyuan snorted in displeasure. "Master Du, your Heavenly Gates sect is really looking down on Spirit Radiant sect. If you're going to do this, please leave our sect. Our sect doesn't welcome you." Du Gai stopped Elder Zhang. "Elder Zhang, the right and wrong will be determined. Don't act rashly. Master Xianyuan, I sent Zhang Xiong and the other 3 to be killed by Yun Chujio and the others. We're here to seek justice." Master Xianyuan sneered. "Yun Chujio, is what Master Du said the truth?" Yun Chujio was stunned at first, then she stretched her neck and began to howl. "Oh my God, I've been wronged. It's a great injustice." The corner of Master Xuanyuan's eyes twitched. He pretended to be surprised and said, "Don't worry, I won't wrong you. Just tell me the truth." Yun Chujio wiped her tears with her sleeve and then said with grief and indignation, "For the sake of the peace between the two sects, I didn't intend to say such a dirty thing, but since the Heavenly Gates sect came to find me, I can only tell you the truth. After I was transported to the ancient dimension, I first arrived at a desert. With great difficulty I finally left the desert and arrived at a valley. Suddenly I saw my 5th sister, 7th sister and senior sister Su being escorted forward by 5 male disciples of the Heavenly Gates sect. As they walked they even said some unsightly words. They said that the girls of Spirit Radiance sect are just like water spirits. So waste not to play with them. They said that the people of Spirit Radiance sect are all good-for-nothings. They actually didn't dare to say anything when they saw us taking away these 3 girls. When Spirit Radiance sect's elders heard those words, they were instantly enraged. The Heavenly Gate sect was really going too far. Such scum deserved to die. Even if it was really Yun Chujio who killed them, they would still try their best to hold on until the end. Yun Chujio stole a glance at everyone's reactions and then continued. Although I, Yun Chujio, am small and weak, I can't just stand by and watch them die. I followed them from afar. Later, the 5 people from Heavenly Gate sect discovered an Earth-rank high-grade bright lotus plant. They pounced on it like wolves and threw my 3rd sister and the others to the side to fight for the bright lotus plant. I took this opportunity to save them. It was really karma, as they did not expect that the bright lotus plant would be guarded by a group of silver-horned 5-ringed snakes. When we left, they were already surrounded by the group of 5-ringed silver-horned snakes. As for whether they were dead or not, I don't know. Nonsense. If they encountered the 5-ringed silver-horned snakes, why didn't they crush the jade token when they knew they were no match for them? You must use a trick to kill my grandson. Elder Zhang shouted ferociously. Yun Chujio shrugged her shoulders and spread her hands. If they didn't crush the jade token, then it's because they're mentally ill. What does it have to do with me? You're not here to act like a scoundrel just because you lost a bet to our sect, right? How shameless. Chapter 360. Earthfire. After saying this, Yun Chujio slipped behind Elder Chu, afraid that Elder Zhang would get angry and hurt her. Elder Zhang's face was livid with anger. Master Xinyuan, there were 3 other disciples with Yun Chujio at that time. I want to talk to them. Master Xinyuan sneered and then sent Yun Chu, Yun Chuki and Su Yun over. When the 3 of them saw the people from the Heavenly Gate sect, they knew that something had happened. They felt uneasy. Yun Chujio stood behind Elder Chu and shouted, I've already told them everything. Zhang Xiong and the others are worse than pigs and dogs. They suffered retribution and were eaten by the 5-ringed silver-horned snake. They deserve it. Don't be afraid. Just tell us the truth. Master will make the decision for us. Yun Chu and the other 2 immediately felt a little less nervous. They had already agreed on what they wanted to say, so they could just get on with it. The 3 of them told them what had happened. It was exactly the same as what Yun Chujio had said. Yun Chuki even started to cry while she was talking. We always thought that Heavenly Gate sect was a reputable sect. We didn't expect those 5 people to be worse than animals. If we hadn't met that bright lotus and if we didn't have little Gio, we would have died of humiliation. We begged the sect master to make a decision for us. Yun Chujio did not expect Yun Chuki to perform so well. She gave Yun Chuki 32 likes in her heart. My 7th sister definitely has a future. Her acting skills aren't inferior to mine. Yun Chujio jumped out from behind Elder Chu. She hugged Yun Chuki and started wailing. 7th sister, stop talking. You're making things difficult for the sect master. Can't you see that the sect master of the Heavenly Gate sect has brought a group of people here? They're planning to kill us. Our lives are so miserable. The corner of Master Zuanyuan's eyes twitched violently and he coughed dryly. Don't cry anymore. I'll find out the truth and give you justice. Yun Chujio immediately stopped wailing after hearing what Master Xinyuan said. She dragged Yun Chu and the others behind the elders of Spirit Radiance sect so that they would not be hurt by the people of Heavenly Gate sect. Master Xinyuan sneered, Master Du, you've heard what happened. If we want justice, it should be our sect asking for it from your sect. However, since the culprit has already been punished, let's forget about it. Du Gai laughed coldly. Master Xinyuan, this is just your side of the story. After all, we haven't seen what happened in the mystic realm with our own eyes. The deaths of Zhang Xiong and the others are indeed related to Yun Chujio and the others. I have a presumptuous request. Hand the 4 of them over to me and we'll take them back to Heavenly Gate sect. This matter will be treated as if it never happened. Otherwise, our Heavenly sect will cut off your sect's earth fire supply. The people from Spirit Radiance sect were instantly enraged. Earth fire was different from ordinary fire, and was especially suitable for refining pills and weapons. Although refining flints could also be used to refine pills, they were not cheap. Secondly, refining flints were not as stable as earth fire, so higher-level pills would be more stable if made with earth fire. Refining pills was still fine. Refining weapons was where the trouble was at. Refining flints could only be used to refine some low-grade spirit weapons, and spirit weapons above middle grade could only be refined with earth fire. The Heavenly Gate sect happened to control an earth fire mountain range, so many sects and forces paid a fee for Heavenly Gate sect to send them earth fire in special containers. If Heavenly Gate sect really stopped providing earth fire to them, it would be a great loss to Spirit Radiance sect. Du Gai saw that the people from Spirit Radiance sect were bewildered. A smug look flashed in his eyes. I'm not an unreasonable person. After all, our two sects have always been on good terms. I'll provide your sect with two choices. One is to hand over Yunchujio and the other two, and the other is to give 1/10 of Spirit Radiance sect's share of Spirit Stones to Heavenly Gate sect. You're tuning in to the Romantic Tales YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.